Hello and welcome back to the SEGA Spirit Show. It's your healthy dose of blue skies, blast processing, and a whole lot of retro-fueled enthusiasm. I'm Graham, and I'm joined as always by Scotty Mo. Plus, we have a very special guest, one who you might be familiar with, for some of you. Which is Chris Powell is here with us. And tonight, hey Chris, hey. And tonight we're stepping into the shadows of one of the Xbox 360's most unsettling launch titles, Condemned: Criminal Origins. It wasn't just another first-person game, it was a descent into paranoia, urban decay, and it blurred the line between hunter and hunted. Plus, as always, we have some hot SEGA community news, including a new indie Master System game, a new indie Mega Drive game, and an update from the ToeJam Earl creator, Greg Johnson. Fantastic. So come join us as we celebrate the SEGA community, classics, and more in this episode of the SEGA Spirit Show. Yes, we are back, and let's kick it off with Chris. How are you? How's it going? It's been a long time, buddy. For the people who may not know, Chris used to run the Megavision Show podcast with myself and Scotty as well. So some of you might be familiar with his work. And Chris, I guess I might hand it over to you just to introduce yourself to people, because we go back a long way. Maybe you want to.
I know, God. Yeah. How long has it been? It would have been, 2001 or so, I think, was when we first started our first
it was
website or so, 2001 or 2002. So my name is Chris Powell. I started, running and building websites, video game websites really early, in the 2000s. Graham, was my first kind of partner to do that with. I think we met on the SEGA forums back in the day.
The original official SEGA forums, yeah.
Yeah, and just one day I was like, you know what, I want someone to, I want to help, I want to build a website with someone. Because at the time I had been in the Air Force working as a military journalist. So I had been trained and, I was writing and running a weekly newspaper every week for the base. And so it also touched on one of my, earliest, dreams as a career to be, a video game journalist. I always wanted to be a games writer, especially for magazines. But the websites, that's really what kind of sparked my idea. And Graham, like, you were one of the only people that were like, yeah, I'll do this, which was awesome. But we had become friends, I think, on the forums a little bit before, I think. I believe, right?
I think we just sort of occasionally we just messaged, like, just in topics or whatever. We just have a bit of a banter, and then you put out.
But our first website was what was it? Dreamcaster's Realm was our first one.
Yeah, Dreamcaster's Realm. Yeah.
And that one was like right when, I think that was that still before SEGA had announced that they were discontinuing the Dreamcast? Because I think it was still while SEGA was publishing games, right?
Yeah, I think because that was like 2000. Was it? Oh God, actually, have they just? No, I think it was literally just before they announced, "Hey, we're not doing this anymore."
So I have to go back. Yeah, wow. But it was around that time. But then, no, because it had to been, because that was the whole reason why we switched to SEGA Nerds, was that we were like, you know what, the Dreamcast is kind of a dead system now. We want to continue to cover SEGA and their transition to third party, with on the Xbox, PlayStation, and the GameCube at that time. And so we decided to switch to SEGA Nerds. And I have no idea how we even came up with that name either. That was just something we probably were just throwing around, and we're like, all right, let's just go with it.
I actually think you came up with a name from memory. You just threw it out there, and I was like, I love it. I think that's a great name. Because I think you're like, I've got this crazy idea. SEGA Nerds? Like
my second idea was SEGA Spirit, and I think we went with no, I'm just kidding. No, it's a great name for a podcast and everything, though, guys. So
thanks.
But
I had no idea.
So no, because yeah, I don't want to go into that. But anyway, so we were running, Sega Nerds for a long time, and we had some ups and downs, and I don't want to go into the whole lore of all of that right now because it'd take forever. But we ran Sega Nerds, for the better part of like 10 years or so, um, and then some point around like 2014 or 2013 or somewhere around then, we came up with the idea for Megavisions, which was take kind of what we were doing, at Sega Nerds, and what we wanted to do something different. And like I said earlier, my dream from since I was a little kid was to work for a game magazine. But at that point, I was like, you know what, I've had already because at that point in my career in the Air Force, I had been the editor of like three or four different base newspapers. I was the managing editor of Airman Magazine, which is like the Air Force's official magazine. And what sucked is like I had helped make them. We had to transition away from and all of the services, so like the Army, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and Navy. We all had to basically cease publishing our physical magazines, which was it really sucked. But within that, we had to transition to like an all digital magazine. And so seeing and working with the designers and the tech people, we built like a custom app. uh, so that really inspired me to to figure out a way that we could do our magazine ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And Graham, you joined me with that. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably thought I was crazy, when I threw it out the first time. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
I was excited because I had also always wanted to work on a video game magazine, even since I was like a little kid. I remember actually writing articles and like typing them up and making it like on a Word document or whatever, and yeah, like pretending I made my own magazine basically when I was really young. And it was something I'd always wanted
That's
to
awesome.
do. Yeah.
That's so cool. And
Um,
going back, one thing I would like to say though, I'm so uh proud of all of the work that we did at Sega Nerds. I think
mm,
Sega Nerds was such an amazing website. At one point in time, it was like one of the very top gaming news sites out there. We had a ton of traffic, which also led to a lot of difficulties because we
yeah.
had trouble just finding and keeping hosts at that time because we were just running through so much bandwidth. It was crazy. Um, but I think one thing that was important about Sega Nerds that really helped establish our identity, and which I think we took to Megavisions though, was like when I started that website, Dreamcasters Realm and Sega Nerds and Graham, you'll probably remember this because you and I butted heads probably a lot on different things. But my military career trained me as a journalist, so we use Associated Press style.
Mm,
So what I wanted to do was bring a more professional, written content to a gaming blog, which at that time it was kind of the wild west of there were so many out there. uh and there was just not a consistency through it. You'd have one writer write a game about a game, and then you'd have someone else write about the game, but they would, it would all be different. Where
mm,
maybe they would spell out, maybe Sega, in all caps, and maybe uppercase and the others. And that's just one example.
yeah.
But I wanted to really bring a consistency and just a really frequent posting and news coverage of Sega. And I think that really helped elevate us and gain some notoriety pretty quickly
Mm.
with Sega Nerds. So I just want to say, man, I'm so proud and thankful for all the work you did and Sega Nerds and
Thanks, man.
everyone else, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was
No,
just great. It was good
it
times.
it was really awesome. No, it's genuine, and yeah, I think we were a victim of our own success at one point, basically, as you
Mhm.
sort of highlighted, and it was awesome working with you, dude. Like, it was a blast,
Yeah.
and it's a great idea, and years of fun we had.
But it enabled us to
Good
do
times.
so many other crazy stuff. Like you were
Yeah,
going to Sega all the time too.
yeah. Sega,
Um,
I got a good relationship with Sega Europe at the time. Don't
you were
anymore, it
winning
seems.
like
So.
you were winning like game systems like every week too. You're like you'd come onto the podcast like, oh, look what I won now. And I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus, like
I,
man,
I
Sega
won
Europe
a
had a crazy
I won
budget
a
back
few
then.
games. But I also won an Xbox 360, the black Xbox 360, the one that was like slightly better or something. And yeah, that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Man, that was really fun. But yeah, no, it was really good time. But yeah, so Megavisions,
So we had the idea to basically bring what we were doing from Megavisions, or from Sega Nerds to Megavisions. And during that kind of transition, another thing that inspired me or helped me to cement that idea was I was also working as a editor for Retro Magazine, which was a physical, like through Kickstarter. And so I was helping them do that. I was helping them with the website and stuff too. But so that just gave me a little bit more, experience with, physical magazine in the gaming space. And I really thought we could do it. But what we decided to do, and was our first kind of like 6 issues or so, we wanted to do it digitally, because just for the cost reasons. It was just at that point we didn't think we had enough of an audience that would support, a physical game magazine that would, not drive us into, bankruptcy. And
and cause I don't know if you remember, because I actually at the time also worked on a magazine publishing company, but it wasn't anything interesting. It was like heating and plumbing and glassing. It was a building. They did building magazines mostly, but we partnered with this company that created digital apps for magazines, and I had that relationship. So I was like, hey, we could try, because we were looking at the cost of printing, as you say, and it was ridiculously expensive back then. And I remember just being like, hey, I've got some contacts here. Let's look into this. And it seemed like a good idea. I don't think it was in the end, because it was so much effort and so much work, and the freaking apps never worked properly, and the platform of uploading it, so many headaches.
So we ended up, coming up with, Graham ended up finding this. I forget what the platform. What were they called, Graham? Pocket Mag.
Yeah.
And it was actually kind of interesting, but it basically, they created an app for you, for your magazine. And then you could go into their, site, publication, platform or whatever, and design your magazine, or drop in the PDFs, and then you could include all sorts of neat interactive elements. You could include video, audio. And so we just kind of went wild with that, which was a lot of fun. I felt like almost like we were one of those developers on, like the Vita or the Wii, where they just like threw every sort of weird interactive like fucking thing at it and just went with it. But we had some really neat things in it though too, because we partnered with Radio Sega, and so they would do like a new playlist for each issue, and so you could actually like hit the play button and listen to the music while you read through the magazine, which it was
really cool.
No one was doing anything like that. It was really neat. But I mean, it was also very limited because it's an app and everything else. So we went to Kickstarter with that idea to do 6 issues, like a quarterly, and we raised, I think, about $15,000 or something around there, which funded all of that, that magazine, and the time that it took and everything else. So we successfully did those 6 issues, and after we were done with that, Graham, we had the crazy idea to go for a full, physical magazine. And what were your thoughts when we started doing that? What were you thinking?
I mean, that was exciting. Yeah, it was also exciting. That was exciting times. I think doing the physical magazine was a bit more interesting. Well, the digital magazine was kind of interesting, but yeah, it was so much hard work. I had like multiple full more than 24 hours days working on the magazine, like trying to just get it out. So yeah, trying to do the physical one was a bit.
We're talking. Yeah, one of the cool things about working at Retro is I was able to meet Sketchcraft, and he was doing all of their cover art and some of the interior stuff. And so when we decided that we were going to go, actually we started doing it, because Sketch was doing the covers for the digital ones too, right?
Yeah. I think the original demo version we had a different artist. It was a Cop K we had,
That's
and
right.
then
Yeah.
we moved to Sketchcraft. He did some really good, really awesome artwork, which annoyingly I had on my wall the other week, but they fell off, so I had to
Oh no.
I need to put them back up again.
So yeah, so I had worked with so we decided we were gonna weren't gonna go through Kickstarter, anymore. We were gonna basically just, publish and do it through what was it? What's that other Patreon? We were
Patreon.
Patreon? I
yeah,
forgot I
yeah,
was
yeah.
muted. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Scotty. Yeah, so we basically transitioned over to Patreon so people could kind of subscribe to an issue, and that also allowed us to not charge people up front, because that was just always a weird thing that it didn't like about Kickstarter, is because we took everyone's money up front, and then there was just always a lot of pressure, to get the issues out, and we were having a lot of technical issues, and there were times where because Graham essentially had to design two versions of each issue of the
Yeah,
magazine back then, one for phones and then one for tablets, and stuff would just there would be bugs, stuff would just not work, and when it worked fine and worked right, it was amazing, but we want to kind of be done with that. So Sketch and I, we worked on, this was like our first kind of our zero issue that we did, that I'm showing to the
oh,
video
actually I should
listeners.
okay, sorry, I just realized I normally have a camera angle where I can actually show you bigger, but I haven't set that up for you. Sorry, Chris.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm just showing it here.
Yeah,
I won't do that anymore though. But
yeah, that's fine.
one of the cool things about this that I think set it apart, just from a just looking at it, is we had the idea of, like, we loved those old retro magazines, uh and we love, like, going back and still reading through them. I mean, I have a ton of old magazines that I still have for my collection. I still love looking through them sometimes. But when you do pick them up, you can see the age to them.
Mm.
The covers, have wear. Maybe the staples are coming out, and the corners are all tattered. So we had the idea, like, let's just make a magazine that looked old and vintage too. And I think it came out just such a cool, like, look to it all. Uh, and then Sketch did all the interior design, so he made it look so cool.
Yeah, it's very
Somewhere,
artistic magazine essentially. Yeah, like very different to
mhm.
other gaming magazines at the time.
Yeah, and I think we did, what was it, like four-ish? No, because okay, we did issues 7, 8, and 9, right? Yeah, were our original physical issues, and then Sketch ended up getting hired on, and doing some work for Toys for Bob, because he was, kind of transitioning over to doing more, video game art. So he wasn't going to be able to continue doing the layout design of the magazine anymore, which I was like, oh crap. But I think around that time, I was soon to be retiring or something, so I was going to have more time to work on the magazine, and so I decided, I'll take on those design duties. It was something I did back in the day in the Air Force when I was designing newspapers. So I was like, how hard can it be, right? But I was still trying, I was working with Sketch a lot. He was teaching me a lot and showing me kind of his ways of doing it. But we ended up redesigning the magazine. We went away from the kind of the old vintage look, and then we renumbered it as well. So we went back to like issue 1. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do that was, at that time, people couldn't get the app anymore, so people couldn't get the original issue 1, E1 through 6, really. And every time, Scotty, you can probably attest to this, we'd be at a game convention, and people would come up and ask, where can we get issue 1? Where is issue 1? And we'd have to do this whole, explanation of, well, our first,
Yeah.
6 issues, were digital, and this, that, and the other.
It was a continual, no pun intended, issue, but it was rightfully so because the collectors wanted this. It was made by collectors for collectors, so they want a complete set.
Mm.
Complete
Yeah.
Yeah,
set.
Yeah, definitely. And so that was one of the, driving forces for that. And I think we ended up doing four
yeah.
issues. Four issues. Yeah, yeah.
Three in that new design because the third one was the Ninja Turtles on the front.
That's right. Yeah. Issue 1,
Yeah,
2,
'cause
and
it
3.
was
That's correct.
FF7 remake, then Psychonauts, then Turtles.
I feel like I should also just point out that for anyone who is curious, the digital issues we did actually try to look into making physical versions of them, but it requires so much time and so much effort to actually get it done, because like the tablet version, for example, if we were to translate that to a print version, the screen size and resolution was completely different to what a print one would be. We'd have to redesign the whole thing. There were so many interactive elements in it, like we had scrolling text, images that like would pop up and stuff to actually redesign it into a print version. Yeah, basically a complete redesign, a lot more editing involved. We'd miss out on like some of the articles because we actually had like audio. You had like audio recordings of interviews and stuff, which were really awesome.
Right.
So yeah, we'd lose a lot of stuff. So it's almost like we could in theory try and do it, but it would just take so much time and so much, basically a lot of money as well, in time and money basically, to actually get it done. So
Yeah, I don't think it would ever be.
It was.
Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
I tried to like. It's gonna sound mean, but I would say it'd be like if you said, "Let's make Facebook a magazine. Let me just take that website and make it a magazine." Like
yeah,
Yeah.
think about trying to do that,
yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it
yeah,
would have been possible. I mean, we could have gone back and copied somehow, found the
then they
text
would
and
have
see
been
if we could
like,
copied it over. But
this is
trying
an
to take
issue.
that, yeah,
Would have been
and
like,
translate it
oh,
into
just
an actual
gigantic.
magazine, it would just be it would have been a nightmare.
hmm.
But that brought us to our last issue, um, and through that time, I was we had just a bunch of crazy stuff. I actually published a new podcast of the Megavision show. I thought it was like like a month ago when I wrote my notes, but I went back and looked, and it was in July. My
Oh
God,
yeah,
time is moving so fast.
I listened to it. I recommend it. You didn't have to. You poured your heart out. You didn't have to, but hopefully it got the haters to shut up. Though also, I'm gonna say it. Screw the haters.
Yeah, I really wanted to, because one of the things I've always done, I've been very separate in my like military career, my video game, stuff. I've really kept them separate, and I haven't talked a lot about my personal life on the podcast or anything. But yeah, I really went into a lot of detail with what was going on, and the events that kind of led to the magazine kind of not having a new issue for a couple years, 2 or 3 years now. But anyway, so long story short, I I ended up resigning from my military. Through that time, I retired from the military and went back to work for the Air Force as a federal employee, and that was something we talked about on the Megavision show, Graham. At that time, my section, supervisor basically quit. Like no notice. And I ended up getting, it was a good thing in, some respects. I got promoted into that position, but it was just a lot of extra responsibility and everything that just kind of didn't give me really any time for the magazine. So I resigned from that position. It was about a year ago now, and I've been, since then working and really dedicating my time to building our farm out here. Our plan is to build our land into a working farm where we can bring people out and buy our produce, our chicken eggs, and but we can also kind of do instructional stuff where we can teach people about homesteading, how to raise chickens, how to even cull chickens and process them and things like that.
Wow.
So that's kind of like our long-term goal, and I've just been like super busy with that.
Fantastic. No, yeah, I've seen a lot of sort of stuff you put on social media about the farm and stuff. It's always fascinating to see. I think.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
pretty cool.
I was going crazy, like sitting in a cubicle every day. But anyway, I hadn't really been even really thought about the magazine, for a while. But Scotty, it was actually at your wedding. I was talking to TJ, and he was asking me, he's like, "Hey, when's the next issue going to be?" And we were just kind of joking around. But I was telling him, I was like, I really just want to be kind of like inspired to do something. I don't want to just go back and kind of just doing the same thing that we were doing before, because at this time, there's a bunch of physical game magazines out there, and so I knew that if I wanted to come back and do it, it would need to be something cool and really interesting, and something that I think maybe we could provide our audience that maybe they can't get elsewhere. So the idea, I think, what we're going to kind of do with our next issue, I'm kind of like unofficially calling it our X-Files, issue. But I want to look at kind of take look at some of the paranormal esoteric things that are in video games and see, how those relate to some of the things that are going on in the world, today. But I just want to look at, say, like a game like Echo the Dolphin. That's a game that I love, and you guys did a fantastic, retrospective on that. It was so weird.
Thanks.
Because that week, I had just like started reaching out to Ed and Unziata, and you guys like dropped that that podcast. It was a great listen. That's such a weird game, but it
Graham
really
helped me see the light on that series story.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
crazy. Man, yeah.
But it really does touch on some crazy, concepts, like
yeah.
time travel, but like animal and like human, interaction or communication, which is, stuff that, there's been tons of experiments, going back from like the late 60s to 70s, of, like John Lilly, who's experimented, on that and trying to figure out, how humans and dolphins can communicate, and it got really weird, and you guys should look it up sometimes. But I think it really did have inspiration, for Ed and Unziata, making the Echo series. So I want to like kind of make an issue that takes a look at a lot of games, a lot of Sega specific games we want to do for this issue. But have a different perspective on it. So that's really kind of where we're gonna go with this next issue, and I want to see what the the readers feel about it. If it's something that they if it hits and they like it, then maybe we'll continue to do more, but we'll see. But I am fascinated about this concept, so even if I don't do it, continue to do it in magazine form, I want to do it in some other things, maybe like a book or something at some point. But I think there's just so many cool stories out there, with people and developers that I've formed relationships with over the years, with Sega Nerds and Megavisions, that I think would be very interesting. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the new direction that
Awesome.
I'm going to be taking Megavisions in.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear the magazine's still going. Obviously, because it sounds like a really interesting route to go down. Like very different to it's not just reviewing games like normal and stuff, which is fine. But yeah, I think this is a really cool idea.
Yeah, it'll be mostly like, a lot of interviews and features and things like that. So it won't be your standard, game reviews and things. But I do think it will, I hope it will have a lot of interesting content that
that's
readers
awesome.
will like.
Wow, brilliant.
I will not try to one up Graham's excitement, but I will say I'm glad it's going. I'm glad it's still going because you want it to still go or keep
Right.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
It is in the same vein as to why Graham and I started this podcast, because there's how many sites doing Sega news or Sonic news or Sega adjacent news that we're like, let's do the indie stuff and let's just kind of also use this to talk about whatever we want to, but put our spin on it. Because we all came to the same realization, like we can't stop talking about video games, but we want to do it our own way, whether the SEO will support us or not.
Yeah,
I get it, and that's the thing. It seems like every time I took a a step back from covering video games, when I came back to it, I always wanted to take a different spin on it, because it seemed like when I came back and looked at the landscape, it was filled with other gaming blogs or other magazines or podcasts and everything else. So I always would want to come back with a fresh kind of perspective on how to do things, and this might be my most craziest idea. Yeah, we'll see.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I've hung out I should clarify that. I've hung out with you enough outside of gaming and like the magazine work that I did and stuff like that, that this makes complete sense that you would go this route.
And you know what? I mean, if you guys pay attention to like, like the news, what's going on around us, there's just so much crazy, stuff with, like 3i Atlas, with the, drones that are being spotted all over the world. I'm here in New Jersey last December.
Jersey's getting a lot of those.
I saw them myself. I have recordings of these weird orbs flying around, and I just think our world is just really a lot of crazy interesting things are happening. And you know, I also, like I was saying before, you know, I served in the military active duty for 20 years. Through that, I have some, you know, I think some interesting perspectives and things and stories that, you know, I really want to kind of get out there that I haven't told before. So I want to find ways I can bring that out, you know, maybe on the Megavision Show podcast and things like that as we continue to do stuff. But I think
Cool.
there's a lot of interesting stuff happening out there, though.
Fantastic.
Tom DeLonge would agree with you.
Oh yeah, to the stars.
Cool. Well, thanks for introducing yourself, Chris, and also the big update on Megavisions and stuff. That's really awesome to hear.
We'll see you guys next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I apologize that was long-winded. I'll keep the rest of my
No, it's
things
okay.
short.
I'll
So-
say before I forget, I am wearing my Megavisions hat, and by that I mean
Yeah.
one of a kind was made before. Oh God, I screwed up the focus. There we go. Before our Long Island Retro adventure, I made this for literally that weekend, and then I left Megavision shortly after. So my motto is go big and go home, I guess.
Nice.
But no, yeah. Like I said, happy to see the Megavisions is still going, or will still be going.
Nice.
Awesome. So Chris, other than that, have you been up to anything this week? Or you've been doing anything? Any pickups, Sega pickups, or gaming pickups, or whatnot?
I was looking around, so I've not had any I haven't been buying any new video game stuff. Mainly because now when I buy games, I'm buying them on my PlayStation, so I can use my PlayStation Portal. That is one of the coolest, little handhelds that have come out in a long time. But anyway, our friend Blake, who wrote for Sega Nerds and Megavisions, he and his family actually came up to visit late in the summer, and that was a lot of fun. We had them over for the day. I was hoping they could stay for the weekend, but the weather was kind of crappy. But one of the things I let him do, because I've been starting to downsize some of my gaming stuff, so I've been putting a few things on eBay, and I told him, like, you know what, man, like, you can come through and look through this stuff and just kind of take what you want. I didn't let him look through any of the Dreamcast stuff because I'm keeping most of that. And any other things that were like gifts or anything. Mainly I just have so many games that I know I'm never gonna play. So I gave him a bunch of stuff.
Already on your Poly Mega, right?
Oh yeah, I've been loading everything. But
I
was
just
actually...
realized this is a rare podcast where all people on it have a Poly Mega.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap!
What
not
a
a
twist.
sponsor. We wouldn't mind if it was, but not a sponsor. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't
know
if that's actually happened before. But Blake was kind enough to actually bring me a few gifts as well. Not even expecting anything, but I'll go through a few of these just real quick. And Graham, I think you'll be excited about a couple of them. So first up is on PlayStation 2. We have Virtua Fighter Evolution. This is Virtua Fighter 4.
Ooh.
Yeah. Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. It's the greatest hits version of that, which is pretty sweet. He got me this cool little digital, or not digital, but a physical, like,
what is
kind of like
name of it?
comic thing. It's Ammon.
Sound it out.
Okay, I'm gonna spell it first, and then you guys try to help me sound this out. AMIONLY.
Amy only. Amy only.
Amy only.
Amy only. No Sonic.
Yeah, Amy only. Dreaming is what it is. But it's all like Dreamcast inspired. It has all these
very
awesome
cool art.
Art. I think he got it off of a Kickstarter or something.
Okay.
But that was really cool.
What?
Oh, he got me this gigantic Sonic Mania Collector's Edition.
Mania, yeah.
Mine is
which is awesome
over there somewhere.
Because this was like around the time I stopped buying the huge collector's editions, and I was like, this is stupid. So I didn't actually ever buy that. So that was really neat. And I saved the best for last, Graham. It's Headhunter on a PlayStation 2.
I mean, the inferior version, but still awesome.
Right.
Game.
Yeah. I think I don't know if you gave it to me or maybe I bought it when I was in England that time, Graham, but I have Headhunter on the PAL version on Dreamcast.
Yeah. Sweet.
So I think I've got it out like every version. I don't know. I may have already had the PlayStation 2 version of it, but Anyway, yeah,
Awesome.
those are
That is
my
actually really
pickups.
cool. I love. Yeah,
Can you
Headhunter's
hold
such a
up
good game.
that magazine one more time? I'm trying to
Oh,
find it
sure.
and I can't just by typing it in. Unless I missed a letter or
It's
something.
it's by Brendan Swan. So if you put that in there.
Okay. Give it a shot.
Yeah, trying to sound that
Oh, am I only
ambient only. That
dreaming? Am
Am
I
I only
only?
dreaming?
Am I only
oh, am
dreaming?
I only dreaming? The thing is, there's no like. Look at this. There's no space in there. How are you supposed to know?
There's slightly
It's
different colors, but yeah.
oh god.
And the
It
first thing that
like
came up
Miles.
is the splintering review of it. So there you go.
Yeah, Blake. Yeah, Blake runs the splintering. So go check that out. Oh man, it has super magnetic Neo.
Oh,
I love.
golly. There's a special kind of anxiety you get playing that game.
Oh, and Seaman's on here too, like Bizarro version of
Oh,
Seaman.
sweet.
Nice.
But anyway,
I found it that
That's
way. Thank you, Graham. The three of
okay.
us combined figured it
God,
out.
Oh, it's
Any
my
other?
Indie.
brain almost
It was
melted.
on Indiegogo. I've just found the Indiegogo link.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Sweet. Cool. Chris. Yeah. Is that you? Anything else?
Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Sweet. Scotty, how have you been? How have you been doing? What have you been up to? What's all going on?
I have been good. I've been busy as always, so I thought I'd mention a couple of fun things. First up is you know it, you love it. It showed up in the mail. Following up on our last episode, the retrospective on House of the Dead. I got House of the Dead, the funny version. Bow, bow, bow,
Yes. Yeah.
bow.
It's here.
Pal, have you heard of this? Chris, have you heard of this?
I can't actually see your screen, so I don't know what you're
Oh,
showing.
well, that's wonderful.
Well,
It
no.
is House of the Dead, and it is called the director's cut, but it says funny version, and it says you'll die laughing. And on the cover,
Hmm.
if you remember that like keyhole that they had on the House of the Dead movie cover, it
Oh
is
yeah.
that, but it has the zombie like covering its eye because it got poked in the eye by someone with the key because it's funny.
Did the
I've
Wayans
not
brothers make this?
No, it's literally the same movie, but does it say what it actually is on here? It basically they recut it and re-edited it to be a comedy rather than a horror, or rather than just a horror movie.
Have you
Horror.
seen it
I was
yet?
gonna say, what did you call me?
Yeah, I've not watched it yet. Haven't had a second yet.
I
But
oh, very
we've been
excited to
so
hear it.
busy. Rachel and I have not watched any like Halloween or horror movies at all this month, unfortunately. Besides
Oh man,
House of the Dead, great. So, but that
you
showed
got to
up
get to
and
it.
yeah, I'm excited to watch this though. It's got to be so bad. It's got to be worse because if they know they're trying to make it funny, then come on, that's just a little too self-aware maybe. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm very curious. I was also the biggest like amazement of that is I've talked about this movie on literally every possible Sega outlet that I can, and I've never known about this director's cut funny edition that came out the same year as the DVD of the regular movie. So,
That was an Uwe Bowl
you know
joint,
Yeah.
it
right?
it
Yep.
Okay.
sure was.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. What a guy. What a movie.
Where is he now? Is he still with us?
I think he's just running his restaurant. I'm pretty sure he's still alive, but he went into the restaurant business last
It's
I
called Eat My Bowls.
probably. Uh let me Google Uebo restaurant. Um
Suck My Bowl would be
Bauhaus.
a good podcast name.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Bauhaus restaurant.
Wow.
But I don't know if it's still open. Looks like it actually closed because of lockdown, because of COVID and everything. So there you go. Oh, he won an award in Best European Restaurant in 2020. So that says something, I guess.
Ah. So you
I don't know.
he's more successful at restaurants than movies. That's good to know.
Probably, yeah, I'd say so. I don't know what he's doing now, but as far as I know, he's still alive.
Wow.
Um, And then the other thing I did grab, Graham and I talked about Vigilante 8 Second Offense, and through that we learned Vigilante 8 on the Game Boy Color exists. And I tried playing it, and my hands literally hurt playing it on my SP because it's probably not made. First of all, this console is not made for adult hands. You have to like spider the thing and it's uncomfortable, but my thumb was literally in pain after
Oh
playing
no.
for like only half an hour. So it's like cool, thanks carpal tunnel. So
Wow.
that's where I am right now, guys. The game's okay, but I can't play it that long. So
Wow. So you
yeah.
need to get the original Game Boy Advance, basically the wider one.
Well, yeah, that might help. I tried it on a Game Boy Color. Yeah, I don't know. I guess my hands were always used to the Game Gear. It was wider and I like that, the
Yeah,
comfort of that
chunkier.
more.
Arr,
Yeah.
Little
love it.
GBA wasn't backlit though, right? So you have to get it
Yeah, the
Yeah.
embedded.
color was not. So that's why I was showing my SP. That's what I was playing it on. But meanwhile, the cartridge, it's also one of those Rumble games that they
Oh,
put out
okay.
that uses one AAA battery. I've not tried to experience that
I
yet,
don't
but when
even
I put it
remember
into
that.
the Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
like Vigilante 8, one of the Tony
Hmm.
Hawks, I think. I forget, maybe a racing game, maybe a Kirby game or something, but it's great because when I put it in the SP, it literally doubles the length of the thing, of the
They
bottom
should
of
have
it.
brought res to that, and they could have had a like
Oh my gosh, yeah. Plug it into your butt somehow.
a
I mean,
vibrator
anyway.
attachment.
Yep. Um, speaking of, nope, we're not going with that transition. Uh, so a little bit of background to this purchase, but I had to bring it up because it just blew my mind. My wife Rachel and I have started doing a side hustle of selling toys and stuff from our mom's basements and attics pretty much. And through that, we've sold a bunch of my Goosebumps books. Now we've started to sell my Animorphs books. And recently, Rachel and I went to a flea market and we found the Animorphs Game Boy Color game. I was like, oh, they didn't want too much for it. I'm like, we should grab that just to see if it'll sell with the Animorphs books. And I was like, let me make sure it works, of course, before we want to sell this. And I put it in, and I started the game up, and I'm like, and stop me if you've heard this one. It is literally Pokemon, like not even trying to hide it. So Graham, if you want to play what a battle looks like in the Animorphs game, uh, go right ahead.
There you
You
go.
can change it. Oh, if for anyone that didn't grow up in the 90s, early 2000s, Animorphs is a series of books where kids turn into animals. That's it. And you'll remember the covers if you've never read any of the books because they have like the children turning into the animal through a bunch of steps and whatever. But like you walk around, you walk up to an animal and you can change into it eventually, but like that is the battle
Wow.
that is the battle screen of Pokemon. Like she got to turn into a dog. Cassie morphs dog, and then you fight this enemy, and it is literally the Pokemon battle screen.
Oh, wow.
I was playing this. I'm like, honey, this is oh my gosh, how did they get away with this? And I was like, Rachel did not care. She did not care at all. But look at that though. That's crazy.
I wish they would have made one of those Bible game like clones of Pokemon back then,
It's got
but
it.
you could fight with like Moses and all different sorts of
Oh, wow.
throughout Noah
Yeah, he had an army.
out
So you
there.
had a
hmm
wait. You had a fight and you got food at the end. Okay.
I didn't play a whole lot of it, so I don't know really what happens. But you have to fight animals to gain the ability to morph into them, which is not how the books actually work. That's I'm not gonna tell you the whole story of Animorphs. That's something you can research online. But holy moly, they franchise the crap out of that stuff.
Damn. Yeah.
Merchandising, right?
That's
So
right.
like I just wanted to bring that up because that blew my mind how unabashedly that is Pokemon. And hey, if Nintendo's cool patent goes through, maybe they won't have to worry about that. But I just um yeah, the last thing though, I'll just throw this out there because I mentioned it last episode. I picked up Alien Resurrection on the PS1, and played more of it on the Polymega with actually the DualShock
Ah,
version.
good.
So instead of the weird controls where um, you would hold down L1 to then look up and down, and whatever, you just use the two sticks and you can look around. And it tries so hard to be spooky that it, interestingly enough, related to our game that we're going to discuss, you do have a flashlight in this, but it is super duper limited. Like
Mm.
it has its own seconds of time that it's not like one Mississippi, two Mississippi. It's like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Like go or it goes from 100
Wow.
down to zero pretty
Wow.
quick. So it's pretty useless. So they try to force the fear on you.
Ah.
Um, but one reason I was looking for this game, Chris, you might find this interesting. This works with the PlayStation mouse. but not a keyboard. Just yeah,
Hmm.
you can use a controller in your left hand and a mouse in your right hand to play the game somehow.
Hmm.
So someday I'll try to do that because
Sounds
right
so
now,
uncomfortable.
yeah, right now mice do not work on the Polymega. I was asking the Discord about all of that. So, but I mean, it's not bad. I've been thinking about streaming it as like a Halloweeny spooky kind of thing.
Yeah, do it.
It's not bad, but it definitely doesn't feel as creepy as the Alien trilogy did on Saturn and PS1, I will say.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great game.
but that's really me. I don't know.
Sweet.
And questions, comments from the floor?
I couldn't see any of it, but it
Why
sounded
can't you
amazing.
see any of it?
Chris, why can't you?
Your,
Yeah.
your his camera's not displaying for me for whatever reason.
Oh
I can see
no.
you okay, but Scotty,
I can see.
Oh
I can
God.
Scotty. I can see you fine. So.
Oh Lord.
Well, I can see you on
Let me.
OBS. What's?
If this, I'm sorry if this messes things up. I'll turn off and turn my camera right back on real quick. Let's see if I'm back. But
You're back for me. Yeah.
Chris's expression did
yeah,
not
no.
change, so I assume I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
no.
so.
But it's okay. I mean, as long as it's good for on your guys' end, I think it's fine.
Okay. Can you see?
I can make it through without seeing Scotty's beautiful
You've
face.
seen me enough, but that explains why
Yeah.
he didn't comment on my Megavisions hat or the fact that I'm wearing a Too Many Games shirt either.
Yeah, I think it
Um,
sounds very sexy though.
Chris, can you see when I share video? Did you see this?
Yes,
on
I can watch
Pokemon?
the stream,
Okay,
so I was watching
cool.
that. Yeah,
Cool.
So
Nice.
that all
Okay,
worked.
that helps. That's good. Otherwise, we'll be screwed.
Graham's anxiety levels are instantly being raised.
I guarantee you it's not. Yeah, I guarantee you it's not you, Graham. Don't worry,
Good.
because I can see all of us. So it's
Yeah,
oh,
I can
God,
see all of
just
us.
And it was working fine, the other day when we were trying to record too. So
weird.
God, that's crazy.
So that's mostly me.
Fantastic, cool. So I've got a few. I'll try and run through mine quickly. I've got one pickup which I left downstairs with my Xbox Series X. Completely forgot to bring it up, but I picked up Sonic Racing Crossworlds for the Xbox. And,
Oh, I bought that too. I forgot to even mention
hey!
it. Sorry. Did you even play it yet?
I did the first Grand Prix, like the basic entry Grand Prix,
Yeah.
whatever, and yeah, it's good. I think I need to play a bit more though. I'm not gonna lie, Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing and Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing Transformed, whatever you call them, captivated me quicker than this one has, if that makes sense. Like,
okay.
I was
Sure.
really into those two games like straight away, and this one, all the menus that keep popping up and stuff, and all the information it throws at you,
There's
I was like,
too much.
yeah,
It's
I was
too
like, I just want to
freaking
play.
much.
I want to play the game. I don't want to.
It's
read
like you
through
hopped
this.
into an MMO all of a sudden
Yeah,
with the
basically.
menus.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The only time I've legitimately been overwhelmed with menus before that was the latest Smash Brothers game.
Oh, I haven't played that at all.
But yeah, no. I mean, you mean you weren't captivated by oh shoot, I was about to sing Sonic Heroes. How does the theme song go? Because I have it in my head when I'm not playing this game, but I can't remember it right
Well,
now.
my
But
immediate thought was, why didn't they bring back TJ Davis song from Sonic R?
Yeah. Well, they brought back the R logo, but not her. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Graham.
Yeah, I can't.
was this developed by Sumo?
I don't think it was. Was it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Let's find out right now. Real time. Boom, bam, boom, boom, bam.
Do it
Boom, bam, boom, bam.
live.
It says the developer Sonic Team.
Okay,
I mean,
interesting.
that is the developer. Yeah, there you go. Cool, fine. Sonic Team. Yeah, actually, I think it did.
It's just cool seeing them doing like it all, in house again.
Yeah,
I guess.
Soma did such a good job though with the other games. I mean, so from what I play this game, it is fun and it's beautiful. Like the graphics are amazing. But they should be considering it's next gen. And it's really cool going into different cross worlds basically. But yeah, I need to play a bit more. But yeah, that menu system at the start was just, guys, I just want to play a game. I don't want to go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, I stupidly did the tutorial or whatever, or said yes, show me how to play this game.
I said no, thank you. I'm a gamer.
Yeah, I thought there's got to be tricks to this game, and I was like, no, okay.
Well, we got to hop online because it is crossplay.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, which is crazy to me.
So, Chris, pick it up.
Yeah, grab it.
I downloaded the demo, but that's as far as I've gotten.
Okay.
There was an ad campaign where they did a throwback to the old the like F1 racers on the track next to each other with a SNES and a TV strapped to the back of one. or no, a SNES and a TV strapped to the back of like a VW Bug or something. If you guys remember that old North American commercial, and then on next to it was a Formula One racing car, and it had the Genesis Mega Drive, and it like compared the two, which made no sense, but it makes just as much sense now because they're literally comparing. Actually, it makes more sense now because they compared Mario Kart World to Sonic Racing Crossworlds. So, which yeah, which
Man.
it's getting better reviews overall. How about that,
Ooh,
Mario? How
yeah.
about that, Nintendo?
Yeah, I have heard
They
mixed
don't
things
even know.
about Mario Kart, the latest one. But I've not played it, so don't have a Switch 2. Haven't played it.
Yeah, I couldn't
Cool.
care less.
Yeah.
No shock.
Two other things I'll just quickly go through, I guess. I've been watching The Boys on Amazon Prime because, I mean, it's not a new show, obviously, because it's been going for a few years. But yeah, I've just been watching that in my spare time when I can. And it's really good. Yeah, like it's very violent, obviously.
Yeah, does Theo like it? Does your barely 1 year old son enjoy it?
He has not seen it yet. He will not see it until he's 30, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I'm getting too old because some of the violence was too graphic for me. I'm like, man, I can't.
It's
handle this
overly.
anymore.
It's like purposely. What do they call it? Not extreme violence. I
Gratuitous?
forget.
Yeah,
Something.
gratuitous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One like super gore or something.
One thing I will say is like the special effects and stuff are really good, but when they actually have proper fights, like sort of martial arts or style fighting with some of the characters, it's terrible. Like the way they cut the camera angles and stuff. It's like what I said the other week, Scotty. Actually, when I was watching The Brother's Son, I mentioned that how the fight scenes in that were so good. I sort of mentioned that a lot of American TV shows often have the choppy kind of, they cut the camera angles too much. That's what they do in this. So there are a few fight scenes where it's mostly special effects, but it looks really good. And then you get a few fight scenes where it's actually, they seem to be actually trying to hit each other. It's just, this is rubbish. But yeah, I'm like on season 3 actually of this now. And yeah, it's good. Also, I've actually watched Craven the Hunter, the Marvel movie, which I enjoyed. I don't think it's not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's better than a lot of other Marvel movies I've seen. And it's also quite good because it's actually quite a violent Marvel movie. And I think the fights and that are actually pretty good. Although the CGI is some of the worst CGI I've seen in years. It's really bad quality CGI for some of it. But yeah, I'd say it's a solid movie, but not amazing. So
my wife has I guess a lady boner over the main actor.
Oh yeah.
As like many women out there do. I don't know. I forget his name.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Who played?
Naturally, I hate him.
Who played Kick-Ass in the Kick-Ass movies? Which
those are good. I liked them back then.
Yeah, he looks so different though. He's like so hench now, like big and he's also in hench. Do you know that word?
I don't think I've ever heard
like a henchman.
Before.
I think that's where it comes from.
Maybe that's where it comes from. Yeah.
But yeah, if it's like big and strong and muscly, hench.
So,
maybe
Chris, did you see? So you guys probably saw Nosferatu then, the newest one, because that had Aaron Taylor Johnson in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel and I were in the theater Christmas Day for that.
Nice.
Yeah, he was also in Bullet Train as well, Brad Pitt movie.
Right.
That was good. That was really
good. I actually really
great,
enjoyed that.
Great movie. Yeah, loved that.
It was good in that.
Man. But yeah, that's kind of me really. Just barely played a Sonic game and watched some shows and movies.
And watched a movie people hate, but I enjoyed. That's the Graham story.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with Craven. Go watch Craven. Everyone go out there.
Graham hot take Cookson. Next, you're going to tell me Morbius was great.
Not seen that one yet, but I will.
It's Morbid time.
Morbid time.
Cool.
Morbid time. Is that what you said?
So with that, let's move on to our next section, which we're bringing back the SEGA Shuffle. Yes, we're back with the SEGA Shuffle. Now, Chris, I don't know, you might have listened to our show before, maybe not. But for anyone who doesn't know, the SEGA Shuffle was a game that I did with Scotty for the first few episodes. But the spirit of the show was really to actually do it with guests, I guess. So we kind of stopped it for a while, but we brought it back. We're going to do it with you, Chris. You are actually our first guest who is going to be doing the SEGA Shuffle. And the whole point of it is, so I will read out some clues. For Sega games, or it could be like something to do with Sega, something Sega related. but I can't say the name of what it is. So if it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, I can't use the word Sonic or Hedgehog in it. So I'd have to say Sega's mascot or a blue, fast, spiky creature, something.
Could you say
so,
the?
Mr. Needle Mouse.
Yeah, I guess in theory. Wow.
I'm just
Yeah.
Okay, I'll quit. I get it. I've listened to every episode.
Fantastic. That's good to hear.
So I know this. I know this SEGA Shuffle.
Sweet. But we're doing it slightly differently now, because now we're doing it with guests. It's actually going to be a head-to-head competition between you, Chris, and Scotty. And
I'm just now learning about this.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready.
So I'm not going to do timed this time. I'm just going to read out 5 clues, and whoever jumps in first with what the answer is, they get the point, basically. And
I'm not dabbling. I don't have meta glasses. I don't even know what there is anymore.
Fantastic. Okay, so are you guys ready?
Hold on. Nope.
Ready.
Taking a swig of liquid courage.
Swig of Sega juice.
Sega juice there.
No, that's not courage on a Tuesday.
Okay, here we go. The first one. Okay, a Dreamcast multiplayer tank shooter with voice chat.
Alien Front Online.
Alien Front Online.
Scotty gets it. There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Okay. So a quirky RPG where you moonlight as a superhero doing odd jobs in a suburban Japanese town. It's on the Dreamcast. And I think there was actually a Mega Drive game as well.
Wait, can you say it again?
So the clue is a quirky RPG where you moonlight as a superhero doing odd jobs in a suburban Japanese town.
Oh, shoot.
There's on the Dreamcast.
Evolution?
No. Think superheroes.
Think superheroes.
You can,
Egg?
okay, maybe we have to skip this one.
I don't know.
We'll skip. Okay, no one gets.
I don't play RPGs.
Okay. Should I tell you what it was?
Moonlighting.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah. Rent a Hero.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my god, I've never played that game.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I associate that with the Saturn for some reason.
Maybe was there an Assassin game? I know there's definitely a Dreamcast. I'm pretty sure a Mega Drive. But anyway. So the next one is a puppet themed platformer where you have detachable limb and you fight wild boss fights. It's developed by Treasure. It's on the Mega Drive Genesis. I think on the GameGear as well. Actually,
Mail is not on that system. Never mind. Dynamite Heady.
Yes, there you go. Scotty's got 2. Yeah, nice. Okay.
I forgot he's a puppet.
Okay, the comic book artist hero of Comic Zone, fighting through his own illustrated panels.
Oh, the character's name.
Sorry, the
Sketch
character's
Turner.
name. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so okay, Scotty's got 3. sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I was not gonna get that one. Holy crap.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Ash Ketchum.
I only remember that because that name is so bad. Of course, his name is Sketch. He's an artist. Good lord.
Okay. A revolutionary memory card.
VMU?
Yes, there we go, Chris.
That memory is in the name.
I
mean, you unless you say visual memory unit, but yeah.
I'm on the board.
Oh man. Okay, let's do one more. Oh my god. Okay. So this is a person. This is going to be quite a tough one. It's it's not that tough if you know it, I guess. But
Greg Johnson.
Is it a real person?
It's a real person of Sega history, of Sega fame, and it's the legendary composer behind Streets of Rage.
Yuzo Koshiro.
Yes. There we go. Scotty.
Sorry.
So I couldn't get his name. Couldn't come to mind. I love him. I almost said Ute Sato because we were just talking about Seaman.
Man. Okay, so Scotty, you got 4. Chris, you got 1. But that's good try, Chris. Good try. Maybe I need to get better at describing these things. I think so. I'm still not very good at that.
That's actually my favorite part of the SEGA Shuffle is your descriptions, Graham. I love them because like.
I thought you were going to say his struggle with it.
No, that's it. Yeah, it's like he's not great at it all the time, and just as a listener, it's really fun to hear Graham struggle to explain these, and then Scotty getting frustrated at them. So I'll just be outside, like working in my garden, working our crops and everything, and just listen to you guys work through this, and I'm just like dying. It's hilarious.
Oh
I'm
man,
glad someone enjoyed it.
there have been some that he's just not, or I've just not. Yeah, if it's an RPG or it's a sports game or it's like,
Oh
I
man.
don't know, what was the nickname for John Madden's left hand? Like, I don't know. Rent a Hero was definitely on Dreamcast though. I'm looking at. I remember the cover. It was a Japan only release.
Yeah.
That
Nice.
answers Pennyweather also, by the way, Scotty.
Oh, great. Good to know.
Cool. Well, that was the Sega Shuffle, and well done, Scotty, for
Sure
winning.
was.
And Chris, we got to come back on and beat him. Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully you'll be happy with the Sega community news. Cool. There we go. And yeah, so Sega community news, let's kick it off. So the first bit of news we have is actually an update from something we previously spoke about, which is the Final Fight Mega Drive. So if you don't know, an unofficial port of Final Fight is coming to the Mega Drive, developed by a guy called Mauro Xavier. And this you can find out more information on Patreon. So actually subscribe to his Patreon. And essentially I think it was last episode actually, we there was a bit of hot news that came out. They were talking about 3-player mode essentially, and he's giving a bit of an update on the 3-player mode. It's got some more screens of it, and the update here is though that essentially if you have a multi-tap plugged into your Mega Drive, or if you're playing on an emulator, you can actually change the FPS rate for the 3-player mode, so it can basically adjust it so it can have better performance.
Oh wow. And
so yeah, if you've got an overclocked CPU on your Mega Drive, you can actually force it to go into 60 frames per second, which is really good. He says he recommends you to have an overclocked one, but I think you can still do it with a normal base unit, normal Mega Drive. But really cool. And he says that if there's enough VRAM space, you can have up to 5 enemies on screen plus the 3 players, or up to 6 enemies in the 1 or 2-player modes, basically. So he's actually doing really well with like the amount of enemies you have on screen, which is really cool.
That's crazy.
So is this game it's only PC, or is it actually it's playable on the Mega Drive?
It's going to be playable on the Mega Drive, apparently. Yeah. So
cool.
He's releasing
which it was never released on.
Yeah,
originally.
So it was never released on the Mega Drive. They had a Super Nintendo version, and there was actually I forgot to mention this as a Final Fight CD version, right. But there was no just normal Mega Drive port. But this developer is just making it, and it's better than the Super Nintendo version already, because the Super Nintendo version, I don't know if you know, Chris, it was only 1-player. It was never 2-player. The arcade was. The arcade version was 2-player, but the Super Nintendo one wasn't. And yeah, and he's adding in extra characters as well. There's a new character you can play as, Maki, I think it is. I think her name is. I've actually just forgotten. But yeah, he's doing a really good job so far. And plus, you can now also save. So he's created a save game screen basically. So it will save your progress as you go through, which is really cool.
What was it called? What I don't even remember the Dreamcast having like a 4-player adapter thing.
The
Mega Drive,
the Genesis Mega Drive.
That's what I meant. The Mega Drive.
Yeah, as there were 2 versions.
Called like 4 Action or something. It had a pun.
I think he mentions it. There's the Sega Team Player, and then there's
Team Player. Yeah,
the EA 4-way.
Oh boy. Well.
Yeah.
Way to go, EA. How the mighty have fallen.
The 4-way, God.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, yeah, interesting, because I mean, we had on the original NES, we had that multi-tap, I think, but we never really bothered with it. So I would love to, get one of those one day to play 3-player.
That'd be really good. Yeah,
just not a phrase I thought I'd hear, but overclock your Mega Drive.
It's probably gonna make it explode.
Yeah, I don't.
It's too much blast
not
processing.
trust myself to do that. Exactly. Woof.
There's a limit to how much blast processing we can do here, fellas. I think this might be too much.
Yeah, if anything's worth it, it's a 4-way. So there you go.
Would this prove though that the Genesis is more powerful than the Super Nintendo?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
they can have 3
100%.
playable characters versus only 1
100%. Yeah,
on the Super
I'd
Nintendo.
say it is. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, this finally settles it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
it
won the
only took
console
30
wars.
years.
Finally.
We did it. All right. Our
Okay,
job's done.
Show's over. We can pack up forever now.
War's over,
You can go
boys.
back to farming, Chris. Get out of here.
Yep. I got crops to plant.
Man, cool. And Scotty, do you want to take the next bit of news?
Yeah, let's do it. So, in the indie sphere, we've got a new Master System game coming out, which is very Ice Climber like, and I forget the name of it. Wonderful. What is it called? Is it on there?
Astro
Astro
Climber.
Climber.
There it is, Astro Climber. And I love that they made sort of the box art with that horrible white grid
Yeah,
look to it
It's like
there.
almost like the
But
clip art style. I have a fondness for that box art style. You know, by the
it's
way,
cool. Yeah,
it's something. There's a charm to it. I think.
yeah, there is,
You
yeah.
know.
But the creator of it also made Frontier Force and Blast Arena.
yeah.
But this game, as it states, is designed as a simple arcade platformer for the Master System. 32 stages. Players will climb a tower filled with all sorts of dangerous enemies and tricky platforms, conveyor belts, falling floors, etc., which gradually make the game harder the further along you get. And apparently, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Sega Mark III console in Japan, Astro Climber will be released and available for free on October 20th. So hit that up, people.
So that's
So
5
that's
days from
pretty.
when we're recording, which is really good.
There you go.
But yeah, if
Frontier Force, Graham bought that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh yeah, so yeah, I was going to say if you go to the name of the developer is Bad Computer, and yeah, if you go to his Blue Sky account, he's got lots of updates about it and stuff. So that's really cool. So if you actually go down, you can actually see a lot of updates about things, which is really cool. So yeah, there's actually a little video there.
A demo of it's available on his itch.io page or their itch.io page. So looks pretty neat. Just more games coming out by the awesome fan community on systems that
Yeah.
have been dead forever.
I wonder what keeps I love that, but I wonder what keeps driving people to continue to support these old systems. I think it's a cool thing.
I
It's
don't
just
yeah, I think a large part of it is just because they can, but
Hmm.
also there is the community that will back it, and that community is so passionate that I think if they tell the right people that it'll get the support it needs.
yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually get more excited about these sort of games now than I
Oh,
do
yeah.
new Xbox and PlayStation games and stuff. It's yeah, it's when I see something like this, I'm like, oh, I want to get this. Whereas if I see another, I don't know, random Xbox, even if it's by an indie developer on the Xbox, I'm like, yeah, that looks good. I mean, I'm sure it's fantastic, but not as excited.
Death Stranding 2, excuse me, have you played Astro Climber? So, and speaking of new games, what's old is new
Mm,
again. What
yeah,
else we got here, Graham?
exactly. Yeah. So another new game is coming out. It's called NightVein by Retro Hammer Studio. And it's a top-down hack and slash. Actually, there's a little trailer I can show you. There we go. So yeah, it's a top-down hack and slash game, and it says it blends fast melee combat, ranged attacks, and a haunting narrative of love and vengeance. As you play as Ezekiel, a once proud warrior of the Angelic Order, who's now branded a traitor for breaking the one law he should never have broken: loving a human woman.
Oh,
Yeah, and his beloved Eve is taken away, and he's condemned to death by his own kind. But fate has other plans. So yeah, it's a full 16-bit experience for the Sega Mega Drive, Genesis, and also on PC. The demo is available now. If you go to retrohammer.itch.io, you should be able to find it on there. So yeah, there's a demo available to download now, and the developer behind it, well, one of the developers behind it. Actually, I don't know if it's just one guy on this team, but it's Wesley Marks. Says, "I want to do a crowdfunding to finish it and produce cartridges. We're a two guys team with full-time jobs, so we need some boost." So, I mean, hopefully the full game will
Feel
get
that, brother.
released digitally at least. But yeah, hopefully hopefully we can get some physical versions through crowdfunding. So that'd be really cool. So keep an eye on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. But if you hear anything before we do, tell us about it, please. Yeah. Cool. So
It looks pretty cool. It looks like a darker, like aesthetically darker Zombies Ate My Neighbors kind of deal.
yeah.
So a lot of purples and blues and stuff. But I couldn't believe that that name is not already taken as a video game, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah, actually,
Just NightVein.
NightVein.
Which more power to him though. Yeah, classic Romeo and Juliet story, right?
Eve, I promise I will find you. Ah, so good. I hope it's got. I haven't actually played the demo yet. I hope it's got audio in it because that'd be great. Cool, Scotty. Next bit of news.
Yeah, so also in the indie space, but you love them, you know them. If anyone here's or out there listening has played any of the ToeJam and Earl games, the creator of those, Greg Johnson, has kicked off another Kickstarter for a game called Dancing with Ghosts. And it's a charming little adorable thing that reminded me a lot of his other game, Doki Doki Universe.
Mhm.
Um, because it's very conversationally based, but you also have rhythm parts to it as well. But you help the lead girl in it deal with the passing of her parents, and she's talking to different people in the community and like helping them with their, do this thing to get this thing to do this thing for this other person kind of stuff. But also there's rhythm games where she learns how to dance and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. I already backed it on Kickstarter, but it looks just adorable and very nice and a very cool little chill game. And let me see where right now they're at 15,000 out of 35,000 as of this recording. They've got 22 days to go. So and she meets a ghost. I didn't even mention that. She meets a ghost along the way that's going to help her become a stronger person, it sounds like overall.
That's where the name comes from. Ghosts and dancing. Fantastic. Dancing with
Yes,
ghosts. Okay. Yeah.
dancing with
One thing
ghosts.
I saw, because the game's set in Thailand, and I think that's inspiration because Greg Johnson's wife is Thai, and
Mhm.
Ah.
uh, and he made a post. I think it was on Facebook. Apparently, it's gone viral and become really popular in Thailand,
Oh,
because I guess there's not very many video games based in Thailand, and starring a Thai girl, and so I think it's pretty
That's
cool.
really cool.
I love Greg Johnson. He's one of my favorite people I've met. Covering video games. I think he's just a truly good person, uh, and he just has a huge heart. And he's this there's a lot to this game,
hmm
and a lot more about his inspirations and some of the reason why he's doing it. And I don't want to go into too much here, but for those who are interested, I would recommend like looking into this game, some of the backstory. And I think you may be inspired to support it,
Yeah.
just because of what he's kind of come through as a person, as a game developer. And I think it's all of that culminates into his latest game. And I think it's a really interesting concept. And like you said, Graham, I mean, we see the video, it's just very cute as well.
Yeah. Actually,
Whimsical.
it does mention, yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it mentions about how, yeah, his wife is Thai here and stuff. And yeah, that's really cool. So it's got talk about the inspiration. Man,
And
fantastic.
there's
Yeah.
also you get little pop-up cards, like reading card kind of style things of the world that the game takes place in. So the one that I did was the selection I chose was Mai's House. So in addition to the digital download, yada yada. You'll also receive one page of 5-inch stickers. Or wait, I skipped a thing. Receive a pop-up card which will showcase Mai's house. Mai is the main character in the game, but yeah, it's a cool little like physical art that you get with it. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That's cool. Yeah, 'cause
There's a bunch of different
I actually just backed the basic
noise.
digital version. I think I did. So yeah, I don't think
Showed
I get.
everybody your credit card and stuff.
Yeah. Could you actually see anything just then? I
Oh,
hope
I don't
not.
know. I
Yeah, we
wasn't
saw
actually
your
watching.
whole thing. It was like your payment information was like right there.
Brilliant.
You might want
Uh,
to
you
might
scared
want to
me.
take that out. Um,
Whoops.
I wonder if is he, what are there any like figure add-ons? Because remember when he did ToeJam and Earl, he had the awesome vinyl
Dude,
things.
I
I
just
have
saw
the whole set of
those.
those.
Those were
But it
just
would
in
be,
a store, and someone wanted $70 for each of them.
oh my God, I've got the whole
Ugh.
set. And I've got some like doubles of them.
So
You know what's weird is I got a whole like shipment. Like there was this like an extra stuff of like all my Kickstarter stuff that came in. It
Well,
was
I
weird.
remember. I mean, that was a consistent update on the Megavisions podcast. Was Chris got a package he forgot he bought?
It was almost a weekly thing. It was a
Yep.
problem.
oh,
So,
wow. Yes,
yeah, if you've got some of those ToeJam and Earls lying around, I might have to talk to you about some of that later.
Make a trip to the farm.
Oh God, that sounds like a death threat.
Yeah, and hey, there's free video games. You just
That's
jump into the
man.
van, Scotty.
Oh my gosh, this isn't sounding any better.
Oh man.
What
But
were you gonna say there, Graham?
for anyone interested, there are some physical rewards you can like get. So
Yeah.
there's one of the like what we think about. You get like a double-sided standee, so like one of those big
Oh,
standee 7.4 feet. Is that correct? Wow.
what? There's no way.
No. Wait,
Can't- let me
is
go
that
back
inches
to your
or is that inches or feet? I'm going crazy.
I can't see. That's 7.5 inches or 7.4 inches.
Okay, sorry, my brain said that was feet. I thought, whoa, that's big.
Well,
okay.
we're the only ones that do it the wrong way. So
Could you imagine that coming? Like, you know, like 6 months later, you forget about it and you come home from work and there's a giant box, like an 8 foot size box just on your front step. And then you're like, oh my God, what? And then you remember, you're like, oh God, it's here. I didn't tell my wife. And then you got to
yeah,
bring that monstrosity in. It's like the Christmas story, but you have to put that gigantic thing in your living room and it's basically bigger than your Christmas tree.
yeah, this does sound like the end of a sitcom episode. Like there's a knock on the door and you just hear Kate yell, "Graham, what did you order now?"
Why is there a 7 foot tall Thai girl statue standing in the living room, Graham?
You were supposed to
It's
be
not
out
what
of
it looks
town.
like.
Yeah,
Oh man.
there it is. So anyway,
okay.
back then on Kickstarter, everybody.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. For a 7-inch standee. I'm sorry. But there's some other things. There's like a notebook and some other bits you can also.
You have until November 6th.
Yeah, do it up.
Yes, yeah. It's 22
Yeah,
days to go from this.
I've enjoyed
recording.
every single game that Greg Johnson has put out, so I immediately backed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
And
And for the last, this is kind of, it's not news as such, but this is something I thought was really cool. I just need to find. Okay, right. So sorry, I just need to get to the point of the video I needed to get to. So the SEGA guys, who I'm a big fan of, they've got a great YouTube channel. They have put out a really cool video about a truly bizarre and a super rare SEGA Saturn game. I'm not going to go into the full thing about it as such. Go and watch the video if you can. I'll put the link in the description. But essentially, it's a game you couldn't buy in Japan. It is based on a game that was played on a game show, and it was only given to audience members who went to the game show. Basically,
Is the guy on the back, is he holding a camcorder?
they're
what is
holding food. It's like a delivery game thing. And basically,
okay.
in the Japanese game show, they play like a big physical arcade version of this sort of game, basically. Like it's a big machine that's actually doing this. And it was so popular that they actually made a game for the Saturn, an exclusive game for the Saturn, based on the game that they played in the game show, if that makes sense. And this was given away. This was given away to studio audience members.
Did they use an existing game that they just kind of swapped out stuff, or do
Yeah, it
they
very
actually?
much looks like Road Rash.
But basically, that there is going into the game studio there at the very end there. If you just saw that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
So yeah, it kind of looks a bit like Road Rash. I think it's not like a fully fledged game. I think there's only one track basically, but they do have a time attack mode, a coin collection mode, and a track editor mode as well. But yeah, basically, go check out the SEGA guys video. It's really interesting video to watch.
The cover art is horrible.
Yeah.
Did you look at that, or if you wanted to show that, it's just I assume that's the game show host, so I'm not speaking poorly of their faces, but the cover of the game is literally just two dudes on a, I assume that's the delivery Vespa bike, and one of them has like a stack of pizza boxes or something on a tray, who I guess is the guy on the back of the bike. 534 is the timestamp I was on there, Graham.
Oh, okay.
It
Cool.
has the box art because somebody's looking at the eBay
Ah.
auction for almost $9,000
Yep,
for a
so
copy of the game.
This is now, we believe, the most expensive Saturn game you can get at the moment or something. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah,
I still just want Panzer Dragoon Saga. That's the one game.
I thought you had
I
that.
want. No,
one day you get it.
I've come close like so many times to getting it, but
Well,
never
when I
pulled the trigger.
swing up to visit the farm, I'll bring my copy, toss it on your Polymega.
Yeah,
Wait, yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool. But yeah, that's them.
I might need to watch this game show though, because this looks absurd.
Yeah. I think it's actually a slightly different game they're playing, but yeah, it's this sort of thing they do on
This
the game
is just
show.
Pepsi Man.
Cool.
Wow.
But there we go. So yeah, check out that video and yeah, learn more about this really weird, wacky game. The game is called Deli Sober Deluxe, by the way, which means a sober delivery or something. It stands for yeah.
We'll link it in the show notes.
Yes, yeah, cool. So with that, let's get on to our feature topic. Okay.
But I don't know. I'll ask before we go back from this break. Chris, do you see at least like my avatar or anything that would be in place of my
I
camera?
can see your avatar. Yeah, so it just looks like if your camera was turned off for me.
Strange. And but you can't, if you right click on it, there's no option to like choose to see me or whatever, because I know there's a way to like prevent
holy shit. For whatever reason, dude, you're right. Disable video was checked.
I'm here now.
You did it. Look at you.
Uncle
You're
Mo, here I am.
Scotty. You can be the new tech director.
No, I do
SEGA
not want
Spirit.
that responsibility. Hell no.
Look at you. You fix it no time flat.
The
I'm looking at you closely.
Great.
Nice hat.
So thanks.
Yes, we are back and we are talking about Condemned Criminal Origins. So, if you don't know, this was an Xbox 360 launch title. It came out in North America as November 2005, December 2005 in Europe, actually March 2006 in Australia, and there was released a bit later on PC in April 2006. And yeah, if you don't know, it is a first-person, wouldn't call it a first-person shooter, but it's a first-person action game, and it's a sort of survival, well, they say survival horror game, it's a kind of a horror game. And yeah, it was, as I say, it's actually an Xbox 360 launch title. Apparently it was the 5th best-selling Xbox 360 launch title, and it won multiple Best of 2005 awards, and it was very different to anything that was released at the time. So other first-person sort of or action games that were released on Xbox 360 around that time was Perfect Dark Zero, Call of Duty 2, Gun, Quake 4, King Kong. Those were that was what the landscape was like, and this was a little bit different. So just to give for those who don't know about Condemned, just give you a premise. You play as a character called Ethan Thomas. You are an FBI serials crime unit agent, and you are investigating a surge of brutal murders in Metro City, which is the most, most like stereotype, like generic name for a city.
Yeah, it felt like New York City to me. I always felt like it was.
Yeah,
Big town USA.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to college, university to play some football sport.
Right.
That thing.
I think, what was it in The Simpsons? It was literally called, like, the biggest city next to them was called Capital City or something.
But yeah, while you're investigating this serial killer that's out there, you are framed for killing 2 fellow agents. And essentially, you're this serial killer you're hunting is known as the Matchmaker, who uses mannequins, basically, like frames dead bodies with these mannequins. So it's kind of creepy that way. But there's actually a bigger conspiracy involving another killer called Serial Killer X, and also some supernatural forces, which I think are just referred to as the Hate. So yeah, and the reason why this was kind of different was partly because of the focus on more melee combat. So you can use guns in the game, but ammo is very limited. So you actually use a lot of weapons. So you actually pull pipes off walls, you pick up planks of wood and things like that. And yeah,
And the butts of guns too.
and the butts of guns.
When you're
Yeah,
out of ammo.
yeah. When you run out of ammo, you can use the butts of guns, but they're normally pretty rubbish. They break after a couple of hits. And you can also steal weapons off enemies, and you get a taser as well, which is very handy. But there's also an element of actually being a detective, because you use forensic tools. So that was very different at the time. And yeah, it was pretty heavy on the atmosphere, I'd say. And yeah, like, so they used very little music, but there's more little bits of ambience music, but mostly sound effects and stuff in the game. So, guys, we all three of us replayed it. I think we all played it when it first came out. Or did Scotty? Did you play it when it first came out? Because I know Chris did. But
Short answer is no, because I
Okay.
didn't have a 360 till later on. I first got a 360 when it was bundled with Resident Evil 5. It was that red console. I still have that
Okay,
same console somehow,
fantastic.
which is what they call a fat 360, never red ringed. That problem was solved by then, I guess. Um, so I guess my quick background with this, because we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. I actually played Condemned 2 first on the PS3, because I had a PS3 before a 360, and played it and really enjoyed the second game. And for whatever reason, uh, maybe they just couldn't handle removing the 360s from the first game. But the first Condemned was never put on the PS3. So when I eventually had a 360, I played the first game, and then I went back and I think I played more of the second game. But so I have completed this. I've now completed this game 3 times, though.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
interesting that the first, yeah, because the first game was Xbox exclusive. But I wonder, because back then that was like right when Sega had gone third party,
Yep.
right? This is
Mm.
probably one of the first Sega published, games as a third party publisher developer. But at
That
that
they
time, if
didn't
you
do, I'd
remember,
say,
like
yeah.
they weren't doing anything like cross or multi-platform at that time. Like every game was either coming out like on one system, or maybe there was some like Mario
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Sonic compilations that may have like spread across, but for the
Yes.
most part, they were like, there would be games that came to GameCube, there'd be stuff on
Right.
Xbox, and then there would be, PlayStation. So I wonder
Yep.
if it was, maybe their strategy at that time was the reason why, this first Condemned was only on Xbox, and, the sequel came to PlayStation.
Mm.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I just made all that up. Who knows?
Well, you're
Yeah.
right though, because the generation before, like GameCube, I went with GameCube because Sega said that Sonic was going to be on that, and
Hmm.
Capcom said the mainline Resident Evil was going to be on GameCube. So I'm like, well, that's a no-brainer for me. But
Mm.
yeah, like PS2 got certain things, and then Xbox, like,
Yeah.
had Panzer Dragoon
I
and Jet
think
Set.
I think the only games that they really published on all platforms on GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2 were Sonic games. I don't.
Yeah.
I think there
Super
was.
Monkey Ball.
So yeah, Super Monkey Ball was GameCube, but then they moved. Then they had Super Monkey Ball Adventure, which was on PlayStation 2, because I own it on PlayStation
Right,
2.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But
weird.
but you do have a point though, Chris, that I never thought of until you said it. Those were all first party Sega games that we
Mm.
just mentioned. But yeah, Condemned, published by Sega, but developer was Monolith.
Oh yes, I should actually
It
point.
was in
Yeah,
partnership
yeah.
with Warner Brothers Studios too, right?
Yeah, I think Monolith was under Warner, but not like
Yes, yeah.
not how they were known or something.
Mhm.
But no, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because this wasn't just like straight up a Sega game. It was Sega with Monolith,
Mm.
or
Yeah,
Sega
that's
overseeing
interesting.
or
I would
whatever.
love to find out, how that deal even came up, for Sega. Were they just at that point, Sega of America was just like, okay, now, now we're gonna be publishing stuff, so we got to figure out like what we
Right.
want, and they may have like looked through a bunch of early games, that they may had opportunities to pick up, and they chose a few of them. And it would be interesting too to see like maybe if those games got picked up by different publishers, and looking back, those could have been under the Sega brand, and who knows what those franchises went off to go do either. Interesting.
And I'm looking at the credits. Warner Brothers is not mentioned at all. Like I'm in the manual here, the instruction manual. It's only
Oh,
Monolith credits and then Sega of America credits. Warner Brothers is not mentioned, so they might not have been part of them yet, maybe.
I feel like was Warner Brothers not in the title? Like when you first.
It's in the opening,
Yeah.
like I guess cutscene or credits or
Yeah.
whatever
Well,
when you start the game up. But yeah,
manual's printed before the game is released, so
Oh, fair enough.
I think it's probably like, yeah, we don't have to give them credit on the manual.
yeah, that's okay. Warner Brothers is kind of
Yeah.
one of the worst now, anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris,
So sorry, Graham, we derailed you.
no, that's fine. No, Chris, how you from memory, because I was sort of new at the time, you got this on launch, didn't you, or very close to launch?
Oh gosh, I think so. And this probably was. I was trying to look to see if I could find, who wrote the review on Sega Nerds, but that might have been when I don't know. I couldn't find the review on there. I know we had to have done it. But no, I remember, playing this game and I really loved it. And it probably would have been a game I would not have picked up had it not been published by Sega. I'm sure I would have bought one of the other, releases over this, but because, if Sega was attached to it, I naturally picked it up. And I just remember really loving it. I love just the horror aspect. It really felt like being in like one of those like horror movies, whether like Seven or something like that. And Graham, you mentioned it earlier, like it doesn't have a lot of music necessarily in it. It's more sound effects and things that add to kind of the ambiance and experience, almost kind of like a movie. So I really enjoy that. It scared the crap out of me. Those the first time playing the game and you're going in and you're in the warehouse or the apartment building or whatever, and then you just hear those homeless people start like screaming and grunting, and you'll see them just run across the street. I was like, oh my god, I can't handle this. It was probably, I'm thinking back, it was probably like one of the more scariest moments I've had since like that Resident Evil scare, I think, from on PlayStation, the original with the dogs and everything.
Oh god, yeah.
This one really, got to me, and I think that's one reason why I really liked it.
Yeah. So
that was why I sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I'm just showing on the screen for the audience stuff. I have found a review on Sega Nerds for Criminal Origins, but this is from 2014. So that's
Sega Horror Fest review, Condemned Criminal Origins.
That was back when. Every Halloween time frame or October, we would start the Sega Horror Fest, and we would go back, and so we would give writers who didn't review a game an opportunity to say, hey, let's go back and take a look at this. So this is Bilal, my boy. He gave it a 4 out of 5 rings for good. So I mean, I agree with that. I think that's solid. But I don't know where we were going with that.
That's cool. I just wanted to say this. There is a review out there, but yeah, Scotty, sorry, sorry, I kind of interrupted you as well.
No, Chris just reminded me why I bothered playing the first one after the second one, because the second one was the first game that made me scream out loud while playing a video game.
Ooh.
So I mean, all I will say is the bear. If you know, you know. And so that made me try the first game, and the first game either awakened a fear of mannequins in me or initiated or something like that. I don't know, reinforced it maybe, but we'll get into that because that is in my notes, because I might have had a Mandela effect, I'm not sure.
Man, yeah.
So yeah, what about you, Graham?
For me, I guess I don't know if I got it straight after it released, but I had an Xbox 360 at launch. I think I did get this quite early on, because I don't think Sega gave it to me. I think I actually bought this one, and but I remember playing the demo of it and being quite terrified, because I think the demo is it's either the whole of this first stage or part of this first stage. But yeah, I'm a chicken with video games. I think I mentioned this on various podcasts. I get scared.
You've never finished Resident Evil 2 Remake.
No, I didn't like
big
that.
Wuss.
And with Graham, I'm with you on this. Like there's times where I'm playing a scary video game and I have to like put it down and like go to the other room, maybe make some coffee or something, and kind of just come back and let just let the nerves settle a little bit. I've famously been scared by games that probably shouldn't be scared by, like Tomb Raider. That one thing terrified me in that. There's a bear that comes out in that. Was
game.
it the dinosaurs that scared you?
No, it was a bear in like the second level or something.
Oh yeah,
that's very early in the game.
Yeah. And I've also been terrified by Zelda Ocarina of Time, but for a very legitimate reason. it was the first time I went out into Hyrule Field and sort of looking around. You could watch the sun go across the sky and go down, and the moon comes up. And I was in first person view, looking around, going, "Wow, this is amazing! It's like a full 3D massive world. This is the best thing ever." And then like the music goes down, and suddenly you hear this scratching sound. This horrible noise comes out, and I was like looking around in first person view, like, what's going on? What's going on? I looked down, and the skeleton came up through the ground right at my face, and I was just like, just threw the controller in the air. I was like proper terrified. So yeah, I've screamed at a Zelda game before.
You just described what every reviewer in '96 hoped they could capture in their Ocarina of Time review by describing that. That's pretty good. Did you never finish Ocarina of Time? Or
Of course I finished Ocarina of Time.
okay, hey, you still haven't finished RE2 remake, so whatever.
Yeah, sorry, man. But yeah, I've experienced. I remember that. Yeah, this is one of those games that it took me a while to finish because I did get scared a lot. And yeah, but sorry, I was going back to my notes. Yeah, I guess so. Based on that, we all played it quite early on, so we've now come back. We've replayed it with fresh new eyes and older brains and stuff, and hopefully we're a little bit braver than we used to be, especially for me. So yeah, how did you guys find this playthrough?
I'll let you go first, Scotty.
Oh boy. Well, let me tell you, I had to buy a second copy because the 360 is a piece of crap. We'll get into it. No, I mentioned this is the third time I beat this game, so I have owned and played this disc in my 360 before. I've never had issues with it not reading games, but it just didn't. And so I was like, oh my God, what do I do? And thinking to myself, this is the newest Xbox I have. I don't have a One or an S or X that I could throw it into to play backwards. I can't download it on the store because that's impossible now with the 360. Um, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'll call a local shop, semi-local, it's a franchise, but I was like, do you guys have any copies of the blah 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 blah? And they're like, yes, we do. I was like, okay, what time do you close? And they're like, yada yada. It was 15 minutes till they closed. So I got in my car, drove. They had it. I bought it. I have one in nicer condition now, honestly. And that one didn't work at first either.
Oh,
So losing my mind. I'm like, my God. And what I had to do was prime my console by putting in another game just to make sure my laser wasn't dead. It read, of all things, it read Duke Nukem Forever just fine. It read Sonic Transform Racing just fine. And then when I took that out, I put Condemned in, and then it read the disc. So I'm like, oh my God,
ooh,
play, 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 go, go, go. And so I played it through. Next day I tried to play it, same thing happened. So I'm like, oh my God, just let me get this disc to work so that I can install. I forgot you could install games on your system, which you still need the disc, but it like uses less power because it has some stuff saved on the console. I did that, and from then on, um, if you go to My Games and then I would click on Condemned, sometimes it would still say, please insert the disc, even though it was in there. So I don't know
ooh.
what's going on with just Condemned because I tried like 6 other games on it. No hiccups, no stalling, nothing. Um, so I was not happy starting this game, but my
So,
overall thoughts.
so
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
the way you described that, I don't know if have you guys ever seen the movie Clue?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember near the start, Christopher Lloyd is driving up in the car, and you see the mansion, and like it's like lightning flashes and stuff. And he sort of stops the car to look at it, and then the woman, I think it's Miss Scarlett, is in the car next to him and goes, "Why is the car stops?" And he goes, "It's scared." I'm feeling like that's your Xbox 360. It's too afraid to play this game, basically.
Maybe.
It's like, don't do it, Scotty. Don't play this game. Don't make me.
Yeah. But I will say that I I I was excited to play this because I remembered a certain part in it. Um, I don't. Do I want to mention the part that like stuck with me first, or do I want to eventually lead to that if we talk about it? What do you guys think? Because I have a
Let's
bunch of notes and everything.
Okay. We can lead up to it, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Unless you feel like you want to
I
say it now.
No, we'll definitely get to it.
Cool.
I will say overall that it is a product of its time. Um, the the physics are cool when they serve their purpose, and I do like how it starts as a standard game and then gradually gets more crazy and everything, and it goes from I've got to inspect these things with my infrared pistol and whatever the heck his technology is, my PKE pocket protector. Uh, I like that stuff was okay, but it did feel like it was slowing it down at times. Um, and I think that I liked when it got more crazy sci-fi. Uh, and my pros and cons really, I'll just run through these bullets and we can like maybe tack
Mhm.
on them after. Like pros, pulling weapons out of the environment's really cool. Melee feels effective. Like it feels effective when you wail that thing across somebody's jaw,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
feels like there's, like, weight to it, like,
Yeah.
even with
Probably because of
you
the
can almost
whoosh.
feel, like metal or steel pounding in a flesh, and there's some
Yeah.
satisfaction to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do like how enemies come from behind you, even in areas you've always already been in, because
Mm.
that forces you to stay on your toes. I think the Dead Mall or department store music was honestly the best ambiance they had. And then my overall cons were the environmental weapons. They were cool, but when a simple desk or a chair is blocking your entire progression, I'm like, I just pulled a pipe off the wall. You're telling me I can't push a desk out of the way?
Mm.
That kind of took me out of it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I felt like the AI for the enemies was just all over the place. I bumped it down to easy just to get through the campaign quicker, but like even easy normal, like there would be times where an AI, I think I added a chapter on one of the playthroughs I sent you, Graham, but there was a time where an AI like was running up to me and then just stopped and stood behind a pillar, like facing the pillar until I walked around it so that he could find me.
Yeah,
Um,
there's ways in this game you can kind of, like, jank it to, your advantage if you're smart with it, and you kind of see how the computer, the NPCs or whatever, the enemies come at you. You can even run back and get behind, like a
mhm.
wall, and then it'll reset them. You could just kind of watch them run, the same pattern or so.
Yeah,
Mm.
you can figure out they are their paths are sometimes random, but you can still kind of figure out what
Hmm.
they're thinking their system is or something. Any of the playthroughs that you're looking at though, Graham, are showing in the descriptions. If there are notable things, I have them time stamped so that you
Oh,
can click on
sweet.
them and go to them. Yeah. If there's nothing, then there's nothing worth it in
Yeah,
that
that's
playthrough video. I sent Graham like 6 different videos, everybody, so to just give him stuff to have behind us, and also I had some genuine jump scares. Oh, are you showing this part now?
Oh, do we
Like, in
to
the audience see it?
they can see it,
That
yeah.
I love messing with games and just, like, breaking games. This is when your boss tells you, "Here's how to use a taser." I'm like, "Alright, can I?" And I shock him in the face from across the alley immediately. I'm like, "I'm an idiot. Take that, chief," or whatever you are.
That's always
But yeah.
one of the first things I do in any video game where there's a, you first like, okay, here's your gun, Master Chief, and you immediately just try to shoot the person, see what happens, and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
Yeah, so that's my kinda general pros and cons, and we can talk about the achievements later and, like, what you unlock with that and the mannequin scene, but that was kinda where, I felt real proud during one last thing I'll say, the enemies that are crawling towards you and they're,
Oh
like,
yeah, the
shimmying
crawlers.
on the ground, um, without even thinking, I was like, "Ah, great. What are they look so goofy that they never scared me." I was like, "Here comes another Shimmy John,
Oh
named
man.
after the restaurant Jimmy John's," and I thought I was so funny.
Well,
But
they
yeah,
they creep me out. Okay, that's interesting.
I did not. This game, the poorly aged graphics, everything was really shiny. The only time I got scared was like when dudes grabbed me from behind or the jump scare I timed
Okay.
in one of the videos. I forget which one.
You were just talking to your phone for a second for some reason. Okay, I don't know if
What is the scroll down? Oh, I
it's
can't
a
read any of
noise
that.
scares Scotty legitimately.
Oh, that was behind me. Don't worry about that. Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah. Go to the third, my part 3, Graham. Go to
mhm.
that one. The first timestamp is when a jump scare does get
Okay.
me.
Oh, here we go. 20.
So I don't know if you want to use sound or anything because I do get like audibly
Okay.
angry. If
This might
Chris, can
be.
you see it too? All right
Yep.
and everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
watching.
Jesus, it actually got me. It made me jump. You son of a bitch. That's it.
Scotty gets
GG's.
mad when he gets scared.
He got me.
Yeah, I
Can
do.
Go down there and get him.
Wow, hold on.
Yeah.
Can I
He
go
gets.
back again?
Jesus, it actually got me. It made me jump. You son of a bitch.
That was a good move, though. You kicked him right
I
in the face.
instinctively hit him.
GG's.
Yeah.
He got me.
Yeah.
Can I go down there and get him?
There's.
I wonder what would have happened if you tried to tase him. If he would have just like
Oh, I don't
just
know.
fell down.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in my game.
Oh, really? Interesting.
'Cause I
That
remember-
makes
I
me
remember
wonder
this
about
area.
another part. No.
Oh, because yeah, I even looked over that ledge because I remember looking around like sort of double checking everything. You know. Huh.
It might only been like right when you get in.
Maybe
there
it's because you're playing the like the PAL version, Graham.
Maybe.
There's some things that you know, those you know, British eyes just can't handle, so they actually kind of like lessen the scares and stuff.
That was your lower 50 hertz or something. That was another thing though. Like the PAL version is only called Condemned. It's not called Criminal Origins, which is strange.
Yeah.
Maybe not strange.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know.
They're not
why
allowed to use criminal in any titles in Europe.
That's right. Yeah.
Call it Hero Origins instead.
Man.
Hero Turtles.
Or
All right.
ninjas, yeah.
But those are my thoughts. And if you want to keep clicking on timestamps or whatever, Graham, go for it for that video. But it's mainly the game bugging out, physics messing up and stuff. Oh, like this guy just sliding down the like I said, I enjoy breaking games. Just watch him go down. Whee! Lead the way,
good.
bro. He just keeps going. So.
Oh, he keeps going. Okay. What's going? Okay.
That's
any
how it goes.
audio listeners, sorry, Scotty kills a guy and he slides down the stairs, but then he gets to the bottom of the steps and then sort of keeps sliding very slowly.
A lot of slippery villains in this one, let me tell you.
Man, and physics give up. What's this one?
I thought, oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make you just watch all these right now. I thought maybe you had glanced at them or something.
This could be the last one, but
sure.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Scotty just kicked a wet floor sign and it's now stuck on a wall? What? That's really weird. Yeah, it's kind of floating in the air, stuck on a wall.
It happened twice, the same thing. So I don't know. I found plenty of goofy, broken stuff in it. So
that's crazy. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I will give one more pro that I forgot about. The AI, the enemies will fight each other if one of them gets hit by another one, and so you can just step back and let them take care of each other.
Yeah, I made use of that quite a lot actually. It's really.
And then once you find out, you can kind of spam the taser, and you get in just a really good groove where once you kind of figure out that combo, you know, it really, I think, kind of like lessens the fright or whatever, you know, how scary it can be, because you just wait for them to run at you, just tase them and then kick them or hit them with a fire axe.
Yeah, that was what was everybody's weapon of choice? Did you have one?
Yeah, my favorite one was the paper cutter.
That was a good one.
From like the when you go in the offices and stuff. That's one thing I quite liked, that there were certain weapons that are kind of throughout all the levels, but then there were certain weapons that were only in like some levels, if that makes sense, that made sense to the situation they were in, really.
Right.
Yeah, so I quite like that. But
I always preferred, you know, the longer range weapons versus you know, the speedy ones, because I just like to be able to hit them far away, keep a safe distance, because you know they have, you know, the enemies have a pretty far you know, swing, and they'll hit you from, you know, like, it surprised me a few times.
It felt busted sometimes how far they were reaching, honestly, but yeah. Did you guys, I'll let you, sorry, this is the last question I'll have related to mine at all. Did both of you play it on normal, or did you bump it down or anything for the sake of speed, like me at all?
I put it on easy just for the sake of speed. It's been a while since I played it, and I thought, you know what, I can only play on my lunch breaks, like at the moment, so I'm going to do that. Yeah,
I played on normal, but again, I was, you know, spamming stuff.
Sure.
Cool. So Chris, like,
did you want to go? Oh, sorry, Graham.
I was going to say, Chris, what were your thoughts and stuff?
You know, yeah, like going back to the game, because I remember playing this game. I absolutely loved it. I probably back then, I would have agreed with Bilal. You know, give it a 4 out of 5 easy. But kind of coming back to it, some of the stuff I was really happy with the combat. like I said, man, it just still feels really good. It still feels like some of the combat feels better than some modern game, combat in some of these modern games. But so I really like that. But one of the things that I was really looking forward to was getting into the whole forensics part, because I think that is another thing that really set this game apart. That it wasn't just you going around and bashing people with blunt objects. There was another aspect where that was tied to Ethan's job. He's investigating these crime scenes. So, there's an aspect where he has to investigate these murder scenes and try to figure out, the serial killer. So he's, using various instruments, where there's like a camera, or these like weird, UV scanners or whatever. And then, sending that info, over to HQ. But I thought it was kind of funny how they have these like, really, cheap, or not cheap, but like old and very kind of basic phones there. But he's also
Yeah.
just like quickly uploading this video and photo and everything. You're just, I got it, Ethan, thanks. But
Yeah.
the thing I was disappointed about is just the actual like gameplay aspect of doing the forensics. You're not, it doesn't feel like you're actually doing much. You're just moving
Right.
the camera around and following kind of arrows for the most part, or waving your UV light to spot some brighter green or something. And so I was kind of disappointed in that aspect. Is just kind of going back into it. I was really expecting more, but I still think for at the time it was it. I wouldn't say groundbreaking, but it was one of the things that really stuck with me about the game. I really enjoyed the forensics, but it just wasn't really fleshed out at all. The sequel, they do it much better. I think it fits a lot better in with the game. I think they did a lot better with it. But yeah, just the forensic stuff, not a huge fan. I did think the graphics of the character models, I think they were still kind of in that Shenmue tech, where they're with the textures for like skin and stuff. Like that first cutscene, Ethan comes out of the car, and he meets one of the other detectives, and just his face, it kind of felt still in that kind of Shenmue era of
He's a
of
smooth,
faces.
blocky boy.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looked better, than Shenmue, but it still felt of that era, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I know what
You
you
know
mean.
what
Yeah.
it looked. You know what it looked better though, Graham. Better than though, Graham. Alien Colonial Marines that came out like 6 years after
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
This
that's
game
true.
had better mocap than that.
That is true,
So
actually. Yeah.
yeah, which
Man,
is sad, but also yeah.
that's so
Yeah,
funny.
you had. I was looking at the manual here just to mention the cool fun tools you have. You have a UV light, you have a laser light, and then you have the gas spectrometer. Your
Ah, yeah.
collection tools include the sampler and the 3D scanner and the digital camera.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it would be too much to do or something, but it'd been cool if on the levels and stuff, when there were clues to find, and it sort of prompted you to use your tools, if there was multiple clues that you could find or something, but you didn't have to find them all. But if you did find
Mhm.
them all, maybe the story might change slightly, or you might
I
get an achievement or something. I don't know.
100% agree.
Yeah, just something like that to make it feel like, oh, I'm actually putting some effort in to actually do this. Because otherwise, it's
Yeah.
like basically press X to put out your thing, or press R trigger to do this. Okay, now you can move on in
Pull
the
out your
game.
thing.
Yeah.
When in doubt, whip it out, right?
Yeah,
Ethan
yeah,
Page
that's
and
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did the same thing you just did in the gameplay. I don't know if the audience can see that, where you just stared at that cheesy poos bag a couple of
Oh
times.
yeah. I was like, that's pretty cool. Why have I
Yeah.
stopped? What's going on
Maybe you
there?
took a call. I don't know.
Maybe I did. Yeah, I can't remember.
Graham got
Maybe.
too scared. He had a
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
quick
Mm-hmm.
break.
There was
He went
definitely
and got some cheesy poos.
there's definitely a few times in this game where I'd hear something. I'm like, right, I've just heard something. I'm going to stand still, just in case, like with my weapon. Yeah, like yeah, that must be what's happening. I'm hearing things or something.
That makes sense because you did have to kind of trust the surroundings sometimes. In retrospect, I probably should have played this with my headphones in, because I was just using the TV sound. But yeah, it does help if you have like any type of stereo to
Yeah,
it.
that's true. Yeah. So yeah, Chris, were there any other sort of points you wanted to make on this playthrough, or like?
Yeah, I mean, those were my main thoughts with it. I overall still really, like the game.
Hmm.
I think it's worth, playing now, but yeah, I liked it. It just wasn't as, it didn't age as well as I thought it was going to in certain aspects, like the forensic stuff. But like the combat, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised by how good it still feels.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So for me, I actually had to play it on Xbox Series S, which is the one I've got in my office, and yeah, so I had to download it on there. And
Did you
yeah,
already had you already purchased it digitally?
yes, I must have done because I think it just sort of said you
Must
already own
be
this,
nice.
so I
Yeah, because I
downloaded.
think it's like $20 right now or
It's
something
Oh
still
on.
wow,
$15 on
Yeah,
XBLA.
I,
That's
I feel like
wow,
insane.
that's
okay.
yeah way overpriced.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't buy it as such. Yeah, so yeah, it must have. I think I already had it, like installed. Well, no, not installed, just on my account. So yeah, just let me install
Um,
it. But
did we mention this was released on PC also?
yeah, so yeah, that was released in 2006 on PC. Yeah, I did mention that at
Okay.
the beginning. Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Because I was going
yeah,
to mention it was on sale down to like $2 or something at one point, right when we started talking about playing this game. So I let everybody know just in case. But yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. The crazy thing is, there was so much of this game that I'd forgotten, and I was actually like points I was
Mhm.
thinking, did I actually finish this game? Like I was like, I do not
Yeah.
remember this entire level or this key
Mhm.
scene in the game. I'd be like, I don't
Well,
remember this. And then
levels are
like,
forgettable.
but then you get to like the very very end, and
Right.
I got to the very end, and I still like I think even the last boss and like the last level before the boss, I was just thinking
The house?
I do not remember any of this. And I got to the
Okay.
very, very end and saw the end cutscene, and I was like, I was like, I remember this. I was like, I definitely remember doing this because you have to make a choice at the end, and I remember
Yeah.
doing which choice I made previously. So I was like, I must have completed it, but I just could not remember that last level, like with this sort of the apple orchard place wherever you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, even the house actually. When you're in that house, the creepy house, I do not remember that at
I
all.
remember that one very vividly because I
Yeah,
think
that
I
was my
got
favorite level.
It's
that
really
was the
good.
most polished part of the game, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, the things I remembered the portions I remember the most was the department store because of the mannequins, that house because it was 100% every horror movie trope, but that's okay because it fit for this game because you were at that point where like this is not I am not a cop. This is not I'm not an agent. I'm just trying to find a crazy person.
Yeah.
Um, and I remembered the very end, but I do not remember that last level being that long. That was man, that was drawn out. Like going through the farm, different areas. I'm like, dude, it's the last boss. Just get me to the last boss. Come on. Like I kind of felt like that at the end there. So yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I imagine though this the whole because there's set pieces and other things like that in this level. They probably mapped this whole thing out early on in development, and because
Hmm.
they knew that this is there's a lot going on in this level and stage, and I think that might be why like you mentioned, Scotty, it feels a little more polished than some of the other levels.
Oh, the
So
house itself. Yeah. Okay.
mm,
yeah. I think this is
I
probably
see.
something that they put something that earlier on in development that they knew that they wanted to do, and probably had this working earlier versus some of the other levels. Again, pure speculation by me, but I'm just kind of trying to
No,
think.
I, I really believe that that is like, this is, I don't know. I'm just going to say this. This level is like kind of shows why the Resident Evil 7 demo was just like that small confined kitchen and and then also kind of that fake documentary kind of made for TV Ghost Hunters tape that they had like before the full game came out and stuff. Because this part here, the house overall, I feel like it splits the gameplay up perfectly compared to the other levels because you have to actually follow weird writing on the walls and on the ceiling, and then there are enemies, but then you have to solve a riddle. Sort of, it was kind of I thought it was obvious. I thought the riddle was obvious, but also I kind of accidentally found the mirror in the basement, so maybe that was why.
mm,
Um, so yeah, I will speak the most highly about this level and the department store for sure.
yeah. Actually, yeah, the department store was great. Which level was that? I can't even remember which bit that was. Let me go see if I can find it.
Because it was
Oh, here we go. I've actually found it.
for, but it also makes sense. But it's like I think that was the best planned portion of the game because the dude that's the first killer you're trying to find uses mannequins to model his victims or whatever he does.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, of course, where else would he get mannequins but a department store? So let's go to the department store, gang. And I love this part because the mannequins, unless I was misinterpreting. The mannequins that are dressed up and like on displays, like Christmas displays and stuff, they do come alive, sort of, right? Like you see them running away in the distance, or was that other homeless people and squatters?
Believe they were the homeless people. That's my
Okay,
understanding. That's
then
my
that's my
understanding.
imagination
And
going crazy.
my understanding is they posed as mannequins though.
Okay,
They
maybe.
just-
Right?
they-
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. That's what
and then they jump out at
Okay.
you when you least expect it. But yeah,
Well, the
and
game did it well because that like triggered me to then approach every mannequin and hit it until its head
yes.
fell off.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
that for every mannequin in this level.
Yeah, if an arm or a head falls off, you're safe. Basically.
Right,
It's like
yeah.
almost like every mall in America now.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, where's
Yep,
the
I
bit?
was
Yeah,
just there last week.
where was the? There was one bit that when the first time I saw mannequins or get up, I was like, "Whoa!" I vaguely remember.
Well, I
where
think it was. Well, somebody made timestamps in their video.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I ain't got time for
So
that.
I guess while you're finding that, I'll discuss the part that
Oh, it's around here somewhere. I think. Oh,
you tased her from across the freaking
yeah.
balcony. The part where you're looking through dressing rooms. I
Oh.
swear to God, please, Jesus saw this happen with me, because the first time I played it, I swear that you get to a part where there's a bunch of changing rooms or dressing rooms in this department store, and it's literally you walk into a room that is like 2 or 3 doors on each side, and they're all dressing rooms. So you open up each one to find whatever, and eventually, whoa, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that does happen. Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
that part, and I don't think you
that's
can
it.
actually interact with him at all. I'm not sure though.
He gets up before
other
you
than
get
him,
to him for me, and then he
right?
just climbs down. I remember when that happened, I was like, "Whoa!" I sort of just backed up, going, "Okay."
Yeah, and I think subliminally that like triggered something in me that freaked me out in BioShock the first time I played it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so you're looking through. I thought I remember doing this. Tell me if I'm crazy, or if I'm misremembering. I opened up every single door, and then eventually I got to the last door, and then I am looking in the dressing room, and I turn around, and there's 30 mannequins looking at me that were not there before. I
Yeah.
swear that happened to me, but that did not happen when I played it again this time.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Actually, no. Thank you, because something like that happened to me as well on this level. I'm sure, but I don't think it was in the dressing room. I remember going into a room, but I don't remember it being a dressing room. And they're turning around, and suddenly there's mannequins everywhere. And I was like, "Whoa!" And it freaked the hell out of me. And this time that didn't happen. And I was like, I was really expecting it. So yeah,
Because there is, not to confuse people though that are probably like screaming at us, like, no, you're thinking of another part. There is a part where mannequins are blocking your way and guiding
Yeah.
the path for a portion of this level, so you have to go a certain way because mannequins are like the invisible wall or whatever, pretty much.
Yeah.
But no, I think we're both talking about a completely different occurrence.
Yes. Yeah. That's
So,
right. What's that
and
pause
did that
over?
ever happen to you, Chris, playing this game?
Yeah, I remember that also.
Okay,
I remember
maybe it's-
them, like you'd go in and you'd see like one or two, and then you'd turn the camera and you see another one, then you turn back around and there'd be, there was just a lot more. I thought that was one of the scariest and just unsettling
that easily.
pieces of this game.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a very good job of just kind of like, setting up these really unsettling experiences for the player. Like I said, it does, it felt like a horror movie, to me. I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
sense of dread. They do well creating this portion, and this is when once I finally played this game, I was working at GameStop at the time, and I literally used that mannequin experience to sell this game to people. Not joking. Like that was my pitch to anyone that like needed something, because nobody remembered the launch game on the 360, and usually it was people that had just played one of the Fear games, and I was like, oh, well, allow me to recommend, what
Yeah.
do I have to do to get you into this Condemned today, Um,
Mhm. Are
so
we
yeah,
talking like
that's totally.
spoilers with this?
I think so. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
the mannequin part
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
pretty
It's
already
like a
is. So
20-year-old game
yeah.
now, pretty much.
Yeah,
yeah,
what did you guys think?
happy
'Cause
anniversary.
Oh yeah, happy anniversary! Yay!
I
What do
remember
you?
some people not liking some of the paranormal aspects and stuff of the game. Like, what were your thoughts on some of that?
Um, I didn't mind it, but I also really like sci-fi stuff. So I think it was I was ready for, even though I knew it was going to happen, I was ready for it to kind of just be pushed aside by the uncle or the whoever the relative was, of the who you thought was serial killer X.
Mhm.
But the game does a good job of making you, there's like a redirect two times in this game, because you're at first you're just inspecting murders, then it's this guy who's murdering murderers, and when you find him, he's clearly not all there, and then his uncle comes into play and
Oh
says
yeah,
he's like a troubled child, and then you think for a while that serial killer X is the cause of your visions or hallucinations or whatever it was, and I don't know. They try to. Do you want to explain that better? How they tried to clear that up with the lore in the game, Chris, with like the birds and stuff. Like I was kind of reading that, but at the same time, I'm like, I just got to shove these crows into my trench coat. I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah.
You know what? I really went through that part pretty quick too, and I don't remember from memory. So Graham, you probably could better explain
Oh,
that
oh
part.
no! I was hoping you'd be able to explain it.
Uh,
Yeah, I kind of skipped through it as well this time. I know there's something to do with yeah, you, for some reason I've forgotten his name, Ethan Thomas. Yeah,
Ethan
mhm.
Thomas.
yeah, you have some sort of strange abilities and stuff. And it's something to do. Is it something to do with sound waves or something?
Yeah, I wrote some notes about it because it's something like the Oro do, right?
Mm, yeah.
And so
Um,
my notes here says the Oro discovered that certain sound frequencies or resonant tones could manipulate the human mind and emotions. These frequencies induce rage, psychosis, and violent impulses, particularly in those already vulnerable, like the homeless or mentally unstable. Which is why we see, the homeless, throughout Metro City, going crazy. So the Oro have supposedly embedded or unleashed these resonant sources across the city, which explains the madness and epidemic. The homeless population ends up being the most affected, not just because of exposure, but because it says here society ignores them, which allows
Mm.
the Oro to, kind of continue to prey on them, which is something, that, they say that, has happened in, real life, like there's all these reports of, countries of CIA, other things like doing experiments on homeless people and things like that because no one's looking for them.
wow, that's quite terrifying, if that's true.
Yeah.
Man,
I thought, what was that? What's that thing that you sure it's not just chalked up to that thing they put outside of 7-Elevens to keep teens away because it emits a frequency that only younger people can hear and like people over 20 cannot. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're
Oh,
talking about.
I've
Yeah,
never heard of that before. That's
Ah,
interesting.
crap.
What is that? Is that
I'll
a
have to
real
look that
thing?
up. That is a
yeah,
real thing because it
yeah.
prevents loiterers and stuff. Graham, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about because they were banned in the UK at one point.
Everything's banned in the UK.
Yep.
You in
but
Germany, figure it out.
but I think you can get them now again. But yeah, there was because yeah, basically shop owners would put them out because it's young youths who would cause trouble and stuff. They wouldn't hang around and disturb the peace or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I found an article about it, but I'm trying to find what these things are actually called. Because someone complained about it in San Francisco like 2 years ago. The anti-loitering sonic device was causing people to not be able to sleep since
Oh.
they were nearby, like the 7-Elevens or whatever had them.
Ah,
Um, security or a bird deterrent device. So I wonder if this is where they kind of got
maybe.
this stuff from.
Yeah.
Birds are dying throughout the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, noise emitting device for gas stations. Let's see if that just pops it up quick enough. If not, we can definitely move on. But it is a thing where like a certain and I've actually experienced this where there are certain pitches that the human ear can and cannot hear depending on how old you are.
Mm.
So it's after you hit a certain age, there's something that it looks like any other thing, like on a telephone pole or whatever, that they'll put outside, like a 7-Eleven or whatever, to prevent teens from hanging out or younger people from hanging out, because they can hear it like below an age of like 23 or something. But anyone above that age, you don't hear it at all. So you're perfectly fine. So it's like a weird reverse dog whistle. I don't know. But it is a device. It does that.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was related to birds at all, so I wonder if they somehow snagged that for this game.
Yeah. That's, yeah, possibly. I was going to say a couple of things just because they just reminded me while I was watching this playthrough just then. There's a bit where, so there's certain bits where you see these almost like flashbacks, and it kind of goes into like a black and white view, and that's meant to be like Ethan,
Oh, yeah.
something to do with Ethan's powers. He has this like psychic ability to understand what's happened or something, so he can actually still see what the killer was
Solve the
doing.
crimes.
Yeah, helps to
Yeah.
solve the crime basically. And also, one thing that kind of did annoy me a little bit was the fact you can literally only carry one weapon at a time. In that, I
Yeah.
kind of wish you could have one melee weapon and one like a pistol or something, because you don't reuse guns that often. The ammo is limited. I think it would have been quite handy to have two weapons occasionally, just in
Yep.
case you need it. But yeah, and
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. I did a little bit of Chivo hunting for this,
mhm,
for the achievements, and I did get the all melee, like only melee weapons used during the campaign
nice.
thing. It wasn't that hard to do once I bumped it down to easy. I will say that, but it was kind of fun because it did cause me to get a little bit creative when the AI was like fighting each other and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, I have to remember. I have to admit, I remember when I first played this game back in the day. I hardly ever used the taser, and on this time, I
yeah,
was
I
using it.
forgot about it
I,
entirely.
I was using taser all the time. This time, I was loving
Mhm.
it. I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna zap these guys, walk up to them, hit them, steal their guns." You know.
Yeah, it
It's
does
pretty good.
give once you get in kind of a good flow of combat, with the taser, and then hitting with a melee or a gun or whatever. uh it feels just really fun.
Yeah,
It's a good thing.
yeah.
I found the
It's
device. It's called the Mosquito, and I linked it in our Discord chat if anybody wants to read about it
fantastic.
later. It was gonna drive me nuts if I didn't find
Cool.
it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, this would
Um,
be, could you imagine if, there was something like that that really happened, and, all the homeless people in your city just started going crazy?
mhm,
That would be a nightmare. It would literally be this video game. It would be so scary.
yeah, that would be pretty
yeah,
it's crazy.
messed up.
What did you guys think about the finishing moves and stuff?
They were okay. I remember that being mentioned in reviews and stuff, being like, "This game takes it too far," blah, 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 like that crap. Like it was one step, but that was my favorite part in the 2016 Doom 2016 when that released. The takedowns or whatever they were, or the finishing
Mhm.
moves were so ridiculous. You'd rip off a demon's jaw or something. But yeah, these are
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like in the modern Doom games. I mean, these
yeah,
the
I love
those
it.
takedowns are just so brutal.
Hmm.
I thought that was actually really cool of this game, and just kind of added to, and this is a mature fucking game.
Yeah,
Like this game's not for kids.
this isn't your grandma's Condemned.
Mhm. I
Um,
yell at my kids when they come in when I'm playing, like, get out.
It
This ain't
didn't
for
make
you.
it didn't make sense when it happened though, because it wasn't really introduced in a story sort of way. Like it would have made more sense to me if it only happened like further into it when Ethan he's just over it all and he just starts
Mhm.
literally killing people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if this
So
game were to be made today, it certainly would have been a progressional, thing in
mhm.
that, like how a lot of first levels are now a kind of like a playable tutorial, and so it would have, given you some sort of contextual reason to, do that and
Yeah,
everything.
but
But
then do you really need learn? Oh, now you can headbutt people, sort of thing, or smash someone's head against the wall. Like I quite liked it
yeah,
in it didn't do that. It was just like it's a move. You can do it.
No, it was fine. It
Mm.
just like everything else was so ham-fisted with like, and now you have to investigate. Use your camera and take a picture with your other camera. And like that. I guess I felt like it would have been set up because whenever there was a cutscene, you could not do anything else. I hated that. You couldn't like there was like a 5 foot radius that you couldn't leave and stuff.
Oh yeah, when you're on
Uh,
the phone or something, like
yeah,
so you get phone calls at certain points in the game, and then you can
yeah.
sort of walk
Sure
a
is my
bit, but then you're
Nokia.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
You can't. You'll lose. Connection. You can't
I
leave.
guess so,
So
right?
he's got like a
Yeah.
certain amount of.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
pre-smartphones, pretty
right.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. Very true.
We just started
Very true.
watching the new season of True Detective, and it kind of feel just that eerie serial killer vibes to it. Like this game has that. I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is a 360 thing I'll mention real quick. I noticed that there was like it's of course it's not on my controller right now. It's a little bit. There's no way this is going to focus, but I noticed that there was like bits of black stuff and I realized it's literally the analog sticks like deteriorating. I don't know if you guys can see kind of up on this one how the
Oh.
top of it is missing a
Mm.
little
I was just
bits
gonna
of
tell you to
rubber.
wash your hands.
No, it's and we would get these traded into GameStop with them just like down to nothing but the
Ugh.
plastic.
Oh,
And like I
wow.
was finding
Yeah, video
stuff
game
on my
controllers, that's one thing
thumbs.
I will never buy used. It's
Oh
because
yeah.
what
Oh sure.
I've seen when the people turn them in, and I'm like, "What are you doing to these things?" There's caked
Right.
in Cheeto dust.
Yeah. That's us. We're just Cheeto chugging psychopaths. So
Ugh.
yeah. But it was just like I was so bummed out because I really love still having my red controller to match my red system. But now the thumbsticks are like it's gross.
I
And
bet you could
I
take
guess
it
I
to
could replace
your, like,
those.
local game store, and they
Yeah, I
could,
could definitely replace
uh
those probably.
yeah, they could replace them for you if you
Um,
wouldn't wanna do them. Or you could just buy, like, a hex set or something
mhm.
and do them
That's
yourselves or
yeah,
some.
I should just have one of those screwdrivers anyway, honestly. It's just good to have. Yeah, that was a weird thing. Let me check my notes here. Oh, the achievements. Do we want to talk about those now? The Chiva, like
Sure, yeah.
what you get because I'm glad we ended up having an extra day because I think you mentioned something, Chris, about the unlockables, and I was like, what's
Mhm.
he talking about? I didn't all I got was these achievements, and I'm busting my butt to get the 970 gamer score because it was before the 1,000 gamer score was like the par or the requirement or whatever. But every achievement you get in this game, you unlock either concept art or a behind the scenes video, or there's even like a promo or like one of their early show like expo floor shows on here or something.
I thought that was
Uh
really cool. I that
yeah,
that was awesome.
it's cool. Did you experience those, Graham, or
I unlocked achievements, but I didn't realize you actually unlocked things. I didn't even
yeah,
Yeah,
look at
if you
that.
go
well,
back
I'll tell you
into, I think
why.
the main menu, I think there's,
Ah,
like, an option where you can go down there and,
oh, I'll have to check
check
that
that
out.
out. It's pretty neat, yeah, like, there's a lot of, just, like, game dev stuff mixed in, but like Scotty said,
Hmm.
there's also, them kinda showing the game off. There's, like, can't remember if it's an alternative ending or something, but it also kinda goes more into kinda like the lore, uh of the game, and you could read like some story stuff that adds to
Yeah, there's
kind of.
files like
Hmm.
Mm,
attach
Yeah.
things.
nice.
Um, It's really cool, and I noted a couple of them here because all of them unlock something, but that's never told to you anywhere.
Yeah.
Even in the manual where it mentions achievements, it just says you can click on them to see your progression. And the reason, again, third time playing through this game, I've never clicked on where it says on the main menu, it just says achievements, because most games when you click on that, it just brings up the Xbox like that menu, and then or it brings up the achievements thing where you can just see like how
Hmm.
much they're worth and whatever the grid. Um, but when you click on that, then it has them listed, and you click on them from there. The coolest one, in my opinion, is the Gold Detective badge, which you get by finding the Gold Detective badge TV. It's a Filipino stick fighting video.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
wow. I need to check
they
that out.
brought this one dude in to flip these sticks around for literally 5 minutes in this 8-hour campaign, like the final boss when he's flipping those sticks around.
Oh,
And I was just like, all right, cool, dude. Boom. I'm like, all right, yep, spin him some more. Boom. Spin him some more. Taser. Boom. You know, like I don't care, bro. But then I saw, I was like, that's really cool and seems unnecessary, but it's awesome they went to that extent.
yeah. I mean that bad guy, he does do lots of really cool flips and stuff. When if you actually leave him to do his thing, he does like
Hmm.
cool kicks and spins and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's pretty impressive what they did. I still need to make a comment on something. So on
Sure.
the video we're watching right now is you finish the department store thing, you're kind of on the phone to someone, and then you have to escape because the police are there, and you've got to try and run out. And then basically you open a door and you fall through a floor, and it's the start of the next level. And
Yeah, Ethan's not very good at anything.
yeah, and the lady calls up and says, "You were going to call me back." It's like I've just literally ran away from the police and fell through the floor. What?
I am
Like,
running for my life.
yeah, and then he just
You
like,
know?
but he goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry," and so just gets up and just starts talking.
Yeah, shrugged it off.
Like,
He's just a punching bag.
what? And I found it very weird, this level. So most of the levels took me about 45 minutes to an hour to complete,
They're long
roughly.
sometimes.
This level took me 15 minutes, 1-5, less than 20
Yep.
minutes. It was really short. I was like, what? And at the start, just to explain to the audience, you have birds hid on each level. There's 6 birds per level, I think.
So
and
weird, yeah.
and there's like 3 at the start of the level. There's like 2 on the floor there, and there's like another one around the corner. And it's like, oh, this is interesting. So yeah, it's almost like they didn't need this to be another level. I guess maybe they had to
Right.
for space or something. I don't know.
I'm sure that it's like a pacing thing too. Like maybe they don't want like really long, levels every single time. It's like, give a long level, then break it up with a shorter level, then you could kind of change it up.
But it was
I
so
would
short
imagine it.
compared to the rest of the level. So that was the
Right.
weird thing. It was, yeah, it was pretty cool. It's fine. Yeah, I just
You
didn't.
hate
Yeah.
it, don't you, Graham?
No, it was fine. And yeah, there was an achievement right at the start as well. Like it wasn't even hidden. It wasn't hidden anywhere.
I don't think I will ever get the all birds achievement because I tried to get achievements another time in this game and I missed a bird on each of the first,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
third level or something, both times through. So it's goofy.
Yeah, I hate that in games now. Like it was something I loved back then because it added to, the replayability of those games. And
Hmm.
back then that was a big thing, right?
Mm,
Everyone talked about that. It's like, what's the replayability?
mm.
You want to get the most bang for your buck. It was a big thing for RPGs to be 100 plus hours and all that bullshit. Now, like I want a game that respects my time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm probably not gonna replay a game that I complete, if ever anymore, because there's just
Yeah.
too many games and I just don't have very much time to, really play games anymore. So I
Right.
would not have liked this, but surprisingly I collected almost all of them, but I didn't unlock
Mm.
the all birds even back then because I went back and I had my original save file that
Oh,
that could download off the cloud,
that's
and
cool.
so I was able to go back and just from the get go look at all the achievements and everything I had unlocked. So I went through there,
That's cool.
but yeah, I didn't collect the all birds. I certainly was not going to try to do it this time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's just there's like a YouTube video you can watch to watch all
There is.
those things. Yeah.
So
Yep.
actually, I actually used a guide to find all like the birds and stuff like this,
Yeah.
and
I started to.
I missed 2 or 3 still, and a couple
Yep.
of
Did you go
pieces
to
of
Game
metal.
Facts?
I did.
I can't remember which
And
one.
it
Oh,
It was.
that's
sucked.
awesome.
So this is the thing. I ended up using 3 different guides at one point because they
Yeah.
all had different information, and like
Yep.
one of them would tell you about all the enemies on the level. I'm like, okay, this is really handy. And then suddenly there would be some levels where they don't tell you about the enemies, and it's like a massive surprise. So it was actually quite scary a game a few times because normally it'd be like, oh, watch out for 2 guys in this room, or some guy jumps out with an axe, and then suddenly it's like doesn't tell you about any enemies, or it'll just say about one enemy. Yeah, there's a guy in this room, so you kill the guy, and then like 3 other guys come out. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? And the guy, but yeah, and then one of them's like, oh yeah, go to this window and you'll find the bird. I was like walking along, going, I can't find this freaking
Yeah.
bird. And it was
Oh, you know what? Yeah. That when I started this out because I was like, oh, I'm missing the achievement for all birds in level 2 and 3. So I'm starting out. I'll get those. And then I was like, I'm not hunting for achievements anymore. This is taking me too long because these guides suck. And also in this game, when you get to a certain part, you're just fenced off from previous moments in the game. Like a door
Mm,
locks behind
Mhm.
you and whatever.
yeah,
And So I was bummed out by that, and also the fact that you cannot bring your weapon from level to level. Uh,
Yeah, that was
was
an
like
interesting
that's
choice.
kind of a telling of the times a little bit. So I let that go, but it was confusing at first and kind of annoying because I would, yeah, if it was the fire axe, I'd keep that with me the whole time, or the sledgehammer. Those were my
Yeah,
go-tos.
yeah. I think in some situations, I think it makes sense to lose your weapon, like if you fall
Right.
through a hole in the floor or a bad
Mm.
guy gets you at the end of one level. But
Hmm.
I feel like he could have kept the weapon. Like other games
Yeah,
did
there were
do
some
that
levels
before
where
that.
you literally walk through a door to the next room in the same building you were in, but
Yeah,
I don't
and
have
then
my
it's like,
gun anymore.
yeah, it's weird,
Hmm.
weird choices.
Yeah.
Um, but
So, oh,
yeah.
I did something that I wish that there was an achievement for. I killed a rat with my taser. I didn't even know
Wow,
you could do that.
that's
I didn't
pretty
even know A,
cool.
you
You
could kill the
asshole.
rats, and they move kind of quickly. If you are you on my gameplay?
This
No,
is mine.
and
I could go to
it's
yours.
whatever. If you want to, real quick, it's part 6.
Two,
It's
three, four.
one of the
Oh,
well, the timestamp that's labeled "Taser Rat Explosion" in the
wait. This
description.
is part.
And
Oh, this is part 6. Yeah.
yeah,
Taser
it's one
rat
of the
explosion.
timestamps.
There we go.
So
Oh wait. Oh wait.
I
Is
was
that the
pretty
rat
happy with
explosion?
myself too.
Taser has reach. No, wait. Wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Just load that bad boy
The
up.
taser does have reach. I got a guy from. I was at the bottom of the
Hmm.
stairs, and I got to do it all the way up the top. If you can't get it,
Okay.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah, your part 6 seems
Um,
to not be working for me.
how about the end of the game? There are two different achievements since we're talking about them. There's one if you let serial killer X live, and one if you let him die. And by let him die, I mean you blast his brains out. Which one did you guys pick?
So I let him live.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I did kill him when I first played the game.
I didn't actually complete it this go around. I didn't make it all the way
Oh,
through. So
Do you remember, like, or did it?
I think I let him live, if
Mhm.
memory serves.
I
What
killed
about
him
you?
this time because
Oh
I
man,
was I
nice.
was very much done with this game because I don't remember the last level being as long as it
you were
was.
in a mood.
Yeah, like Ethan didn't, or the dude that's trying to talk you out of it didn't even finish his sentence. I just shot him. But I did do both of them because I did the other one previously just for the Chivo. But I don't know if there's a different scene after that or not. And like in real life, it's like no, keep him alive to, you know, uh, to analyze and well, I guess basically analyze him, but question him about why he did all this crap. Instead, Ethan, you know, shot him. That's what pissed off Ethan at the end of his rope would have done probably, but any good agent would have let him live to question him properly, etc. Um, and then I think it was after that scene, or no, I'm sorry. After you kill serial killer X, or you decide not to, then you're at a diner with oh, I can't remember the agent's name who helps you the whole time over the phone, the lady agent,
Rosa.
but Rosa, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like talking in a diner, and then it cuts to Ethan going to the bathroom and looking in the mirror, and then I guess it's supposed to be a jump scare, but
Mm.
he turns around and has the crazy predator dental work jaw, and it's just like,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
like,
stupid.
that I burst out laughing. I
It was
lost it.
that
I'm
was
like, that
dumb.
is the dumbest way to possibly do this, guys. That's not scary. That looks stupid. He's like, "Arr."
You're supposed
That's
to kind of
funny.
like look like the last enemy,
The
though,
last
right?
boss,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of showing
yeah,
like he's kind of delving deeper into whether this is all like real or it's just maybe it's just like a psychosis or something.
yeah.
Hmm.
He's like definitely mentally unstable at the end of this game.
Right.
There
Yes.
was actually one thing that I did. I don't know. I don't know if it was made clear or not, or if it was just me interpreting it in the wrong way. But basically, so at one point, so basically, part of the stories we've discussed is you are chasing this one serial killer, but then there's like another serial killer, and you are framed for the murder of your two cops. There's basically a bit where you actually get changed into one of the serial killer's outfit, basically, and I can't remember the actual scene as it were, but there's a bit just like the next level afterwards where it almost looks like you potentially you actually did do the murders. You were the killer or something.
Oh.
But I don't know if
Huh.
it's ever actually if that was just me interpreting the scene or something in a different way.
Mm.
Um,
The only time he like takes over as or like goes into a disguise is when you're in the house. It's the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of the
yeah.
house
That's the bit
portion.
I'm talking about. Yeah, so
You're
you're in the
not
hat.
Oh, well I mean that was just it. Like he was just imitating to get the drop on the serial killer.
Okay, it's just I didn't know if there was something to do with, you know, the whole hate thing taking over your brain and you actually did kill the cops or something, and maybe you actually did
I
kill
don't
the
think
cops.
so.
It wasn't actually serial killer X. It was you are serial killer X or something weird like that. But no, actually, no, that can't be it because no,
That would have been cooler.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
yeah,
honestly, like I thought that whole bit at the end where the cop shoots them with the or the serial killer shoots them with a gun,
Mm.
and he leaves with Ethan's gun, and that sets the whole thing up. But it just seems like he could call that in and be like, he took my gun and shot them, and
Yeah.
they would believe him. I just
yeah,
I thought that was kind of a weird leap
Yeah,
of
the
of
exact
logic.
catalyst of this game story is so loose. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not.
So I think maybe that's why. But yeah, actually, now I'm talking it through in my head. It's clear that there
Mhm.
was two serial killers and you are just framed for murder. But yeah, that doesn't
Yep.
make any sense at the start because you're in your flat. Yeah, you go into your apartment or whatever, and like in a
Mhm.
cutscene, and then some guy like knocks on the door and talks to you about stuff. He's like, "Hey, the cops are on their way," sort of thing. You're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
But
just nothing in between. Like I don't get to defend myself at all, you know?
yeah, but it's like, did you just get attacked by a serial killer and you're meant to get killed, and then you just go home? Did you not? Was there not like some
Apparently.
sort of investigation? It was really weird. Like there's no distinction on how
Yeah,
much time had passed.
I
Yeah,
don't think they figured out the writing for that gap, maybe.
yeah. So yeah,
So,
So yeah, cool. Were there any other key points you guys wanted to pick up, or should we sort of wrap up, as it were?
one last thing I'd like to mention is to give credit to the voice actors. They were all very good in this game.
Oh yeah.
Greg Grunberg, if I'm saying that correctly, who did Ethan Thomas's voice. I knew him from the TV show Heroes,
Oh,
so I thought he did a really good job.
who's he playing Heroes?
The dude that is it a psychic ability or does he read
Oh,
minds? I can't remember.
yeah. Okay, okay, yeah. He's a
Um,
cop in it, in the first
he's a
like
cop in
series. Yeah,
Heroes, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
what is his character's actual name in that?
I've forgotten
Matt
now.
Parkman.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Uh, Matt Parkman powers. He telepathy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what he did,
yeah.
or what he had. So that
That's
was
cool.
cool. I don't remember who anyone else is, but all did a great job.
Yeah, yeah. The acting was very good actually. They were, yeah. Um, I think the way the story is told is generally good. I think the storyline, maybe some of the dialogue and some of the plot could have been refined a bit more, but I liked how it wasn't like tons and tons of cutscenes and stuff. Some of it is told like, you know, when you're on your phone as you're walking through a level and stuff. So I quite liked it's quite immersive in that way. You felt like you were playing the character rather than observing a character, if that makes sense. How you would be in some games.
I liked it at first, but I got real tired of it though, because it
Oh,
was
fair enough.
just I it was an unskippable cutscene, is what they turned into for me anyway.
Yeah,
So
true. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I guess sometimes it did get a bit wearing, but
that's just
yeah,
my 2 cents.
yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah, this was quite good. I always remember like just watching these guys wail on each other for a while in this
Yep.
in this bit of the game. I was like, yep, I'm not going up that ladder yet. I'm going to wait for the winner
Nope.
to.
And then look. Here's the AI. He's just staring at me. That's it. Like there's no way I can get down to you, so I'm gonna give you a stern look.
Could
So
you imagine though if you're just like an innocent homeless person, just mind your own business, and then Ethan comes over with a crowbar and just starts attacking? You're like, oh God! The homeless people probably spoke of him in hushed tones for years
right.
after this. Like the man who killed 1,000 homeless people in one
uh,
night.
that would have been
Not
quite.
me.
That would
You can have my birds. I don't want them.
that would have been quite cool actually if there were some homeless people who weren't affected by like this craziness. Like,
They could. Graham, can you make a video game? Do one that's just you're one of these homeless people just in the world of Condemned,
yeah,
or this story. You're just a homeless dude following
man,
Ethan around.
that's crazy. What actually? Just we've spoken about the where the sorry the department store and stuff. Were there any other standout levels for you guys?
Those were it for me. Department store, the house. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah, the house was my favorite. You know, department store, because the mannequin pieces, that was something that always stuck with me about this game.
Yep.
But that I loved the that house level. It was
Oh,
awesome.
there's the rat. Boom, baby.
Got it.
Yeah.
I got YouTube working.
Do
Let's
that.
watch that.
Do that again, Graham. Yeah, that was. I was just messing around with the taser. I'm like, that should
Yeah.
have been an achievement. I just destroyed that poor little
Yeah.
guy.
So this level I loved.
Is this the start of the school or something?
Yeah, I think
maybe?
this is like this school. I really like that, and also the library. I think it was that was really creepy for me.
It was, yeah.
But I did think it was a bit crazy where in the library you meet Rosa actually in person, because she's normally on the phone, and she's gone there on her own and stuff, and she comes, like, you have to try and find her and meet her. But like it's a bit we get at the start of the level, she's like on the phone, goes like, something's not right here. Some people, there's like homeless people like living here basically, and it's like, you would not, if this was real life, you would not go into that building on your own. It's
Not
this
at all.
condemned library that's full of crazy homeless people. No.
Not at all. Yeah, she's like, I can feel that I'm being watched or something like that.
Yeah.
But they find a computer terminal that's apparently still connected to the internet. So there
Ooh,
you go.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah.
2005, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the thing about this game. I think there was a few standout levels for me, and a few standout moments as well that made me really enjoy playing through it again, especially some of the stuff I completely forgot about. Well, that bit was quite creepy as well when you see that weird shadow guy on the wall.
So yeah, one last positive thing I'll say about this game. Your character, the entire model of Ethan is in this game that you're controlling. It's not just like a floating pair of hands. It's not, because he has a shadow,
Oh yeah.
and they do that to try to spook you, which it got me once or twice, that the light was hitting such a certain way that as you walk forward, your shadow shows up in front of you, like that right there, kind of like that kind of stuff. So it is a full model, but I thought that was interesting how they tried to use that with the being scared of your own shadow.
That is actually really cool. Yeah, the use of shadows in this game was really good, because I think I actually did see
Lighting overall, they
Yeah.
have like the flickering lights, and just it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess we could sort of start to wrap up now, unless there's any other key points. What sort of score, if you were to review this today, what sort of score would you give it?
What are we doing out of 5, 10, A, B, C, D, whatever? What are we doing?
Let's do out of 5. Let's make it simple.
How many 5 crows shoved in your jacket do you give this? How many out of 5? I think Chris said he'd give it a 4 again, but I don't want to speak for him.
You know what? Like, now that Graham asked, I think it's going to be different.
Oh.
Like, looking back at it now as just a game versus when it was released, I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay,
versus
interesting.
a 4 out of 5 when I first experienced it.
Yeah, I think going back to this now, the pacing on some levels is just flat out not good. And I feel like they should have added music more in certain areas, because like probably the second level or something, when you're going through office buildings, it just I was literally getting lost because everything looked the same. So it was, the pacing sometimes was not great, but it does have cool set pieces. I'd say if we can do half ratings, I would maybe do like a 2.5,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's right down the middle for me, because it's good, but it's not great. And I remembered why I like the second one more, because I played the second and it made me want to play this, but then I went right back to the second game again. So, but I haven't played the second one since then. I played this one way more recently, even in between, way back when. And now I did try this on PC, I think for Megavisions maybe, or I tried to test it out and it just didn't feel great. Um, so yeah, I mean, that might be a little harsh. At most, I'd give it a 3, because it feels average now, and that's mainly the pacing and the unskippable stuff and the confusion. But that might be my part on like the levels being. I understand the layout of them, but at the same time, I was like getting lost, and I'm just in an office building. Um, so yeah, 2.5. That was my long-winded way of saying 2.5.
Fair enough. I'd see I'm tossed up in between 3 and 3.5, I think, for me. I really enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed it more than when I first played it. back in the day. There was lots of things I completely forgot about.
Wow.
I do think some things are very dated though. You know, like you can run in the game, but the run is useless. Like I
Good
used it.
lord, you need to be able to move faster in this game.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Because like I can understand the walking thing's fine, and then having a run button's good, but the running's not much faster than the walking. So I was like, this is pointless. So I'd use it twice, I think.
And there's a cooldown, yeah.
Yeah.
like-
So it wasn't. Yeah.
Oh,
I did appreciate the fact that torch is infinite, because I think that would have.
I was going to say that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think.
No,
that would
I was going to
driven me
say,
nuts.
yeah, because the, or were you done? Sorry, Graham.
I was just going to say that would have driven me nuts if the battery was going to run out every 5 minutes or something, or 20 seconds.
I have a feeling that that's what they started with, but then they realized this game is too dark and almost unplayable if you don't have your flashlight on all
Yeah.
the time. So I kind of, because I would, like, when I was playing, I would turn it off and try to do portions of the game. I was like, oh, this is definitely creepy, but I also literally cannot see the walls in front of me, you know?
Yeah, it
So,
would have been too scary for me to play it back then, I think. If there
Yeah.
wasn't the flashlight, I'd be like, screw this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nope.
And I think maybe a major difference between your score and ours, Graham, I've played much better first person horror games that have better pacing and better storytelling with
Okay.
less things going on. So I think that's why like this has a lower score for me because
Fair enough.
I keep thinking of like certain things that did this better. Like Soma is one of my favorite games, and that's a first person horror game, but it really upped the creepy factor. I think that was made by the same people that did Outlast or Out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those games, but yeah. So I think, yeah, just different standards. But
Man. Okay. I just wanted to
so
make a comment on something. On the video right now, you're standing in front of that mirror. When I came to this bit for the first time, I stood in front of the mirror and I was just like looking at my reflection, going, "Whoa, that's pretty cool." And then someone came up behind me, and I could see him in the mirror, and that freaked the hell out of me because I was like, "Looks like there's someone." Oh, there's someone behind me.
perfect.
It was
As
actually really good.
intended.
Yeah, it was really good. That was one thing I didn't get actually. This basement, there's unlimited enemies basically. They just keep spawning.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, like I went around and killed all the enemies, and then went to investigate, and then more enemies kept coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the only part it happened, but that makes
Yeah.
sense to keep you moving.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but yeah, this was a cool level. I'm trying to think if it was.
Well,
Yeah. Was there anything else I had in my head? I can't really remember. No, that's it, I think. So, Chris, sorry, do you have any final thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, no, I think this, one thing that I think we need to keep in mind, because I agree with Scotty. I think you said it, good. It's just this game, looking back at it now, I think you can't really say it does anything all that spectacular, and it just feels kind of average. But this game was a launch title on the Xbox, and like look
Yeah.
how far the sequel came just from like visual. They really fleshed out a lot of stuff. So I think it's just more of a product of its time. It was on brand new hardware, on new generation, and they still did some really cool things that at that time I had never experienced in a video game. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. I think it just doesn't. It hasn't aged as well as I hoped it would, because I think if people never played it and they go back and play it now, they're not going to have as good of an experience, because there's been games that have evolved from this and have took what they've done and continued it. We kind of talked about Doom earlier. And
Yeah.
so having played those games, it's kind of like going back and sometimes watching, like an old horror movie. You've seen those type of scares, but done way grosser. And so it's not scary. It may be kind of fun to watch, but I feel like that's kind of like maybe what people would experience with this if they had never played it and go back to play it now.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. Yeah, yeah, it did do a lot that not anything else was really doing back then. Yeah, and it was a launch title. That's crazy. 20 years. November, I just had the date. Shoot. November 15th, 2005.
Yeah, that's what
So,
surprised me the most, was when we were talking about it. I had forgotten that it was a launch title, and I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. But it's also impressive because I still think that this game does some cool things. It's just I don't think it's really spectacular in any of those things.
That's fair enough. The thing is, though, when you're talking about launch titles and stuff, I think I'd rather play this game as a launch, like this, compared to other launch titles. I played this game over a lot more than some of the others, if that makes sense. So
I know you played a lot of Cameo, Graham.
Yeah, so Cameo is probably one game I would still play over this. But
wasn't there like an online aspect? Couldn't we play online?
You could,
something?
Yeah, there's a co-op mode on Cameo.
Yeah, I remember us playing co-op on that.
Yeah, it's great. Cameo was a great game. People didn't give it enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd play this more over Perfect Dark Zero, Gun, Quake 4, King Kong, those sort of similar first-person games of the time. I'd play this again over those, if that makes sense. Because this was it's a very different experience for me for that time. But as you say, Scotty, other games are more recent. They've done a better job now. So yeah, cool. So I guess with that we can sort of wrap up the show. I guess.
Yeah.
So I think we all did enjoy it to an extent, but maybe. Yeah.
No, I would still recommend, even with my 2.5 out of 5. I would say still check it out if you're a horror fan. I mean, like there is still stuff in here. Like if you have a fear of mannequins, this game will mess you up. But I'd say try it if you can find it less than $10. Give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Cool. So with that, Scotty, Chris, do you have any plugs and shout outs and stuff and whatnot?
Mine's real quick, so I'll go first because I know we want to let Chris talk about Megavisions again. But my quick shout out is for myself. Hooray! I have a pickups video coming out, and half the reason I did it was so that I wouldn't take up a lot of time on this podcast, because I surprisingly grabbed it's a summer pickup, so it's like the stuff I've gotten in the past couple of months. But yeah, some stuff maybe relevant to this podcast, maybe just Sega stuff in general, but that'll be out probably by the time this comes out on my personal channel. We'll link it in the show notes and stuff. But that's still working on the clips video from the Dreamcast marathon though. Still gotta it's hard to review a 12-hour marathon in your free time. I'll just say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to see it when they're finally up and done. Good stuff. Yeah. Exciting
That's
times.
Me,
I'll guess I'll quickly go before Chris. Let you wrap it up, Chris, I guess. But so for me, I was actually invited back onto the Sega Lounge, and we actually recorded yesterday.
I didn't know this.
Yes, I was meant to tell
What the
you,
hell?
Scotty, and I didn't get a chance to inform
And you had a 7-foot-tall woman show up at our front door in a box. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
I see some fractures already beginning. Oh no.
So yeah, it was actually a last minute thing. Casey sort of just invited me and said, "Hey, are you free?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure I can be free for that day." And yeah, we spoke about the Mega Drive Mini, woohoo,
Nice.
and the Mega Drive Mini 2 actually a bit basically. But yeah, we were just talking about. It was not technically a proper anniversary for either of those consoles, but why not? Let's talk about them. And we spoke a little bit about the GameGear Minis for a bit and some of the other mini consoles. But it was a really good show. But it is actually coming out this Friday, which at this time of this recording, it'll be Friday the 15th of October. So maybe by the time this show comes out, it might already be out. But yeah, check out the Sega Lounge podcast. I'll be on it with Casey and Viper. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We all
mine
have
too back
these
there.
on our freaking set.
Yeah,
And
I've got mine.
Christopher Leland Powell is to blame for me owning these things.
Yeah.
I don't know your middle name, so I gave you
That's
one.
like Leland.
I've got 4 of them there. There we go. And you both
Yeah,
seem
I
to
bought
hold up the blue one, which is my
It's
favorite
just
one.
the first one. I don't
Wait,
know.
why am I the reason?
Because you convinced me to start a Japanese Amazon account and then spend $250 on these stupid things. And I was definitely under the influence at the time. And I remember when they showed up, I opened them, saw the size, and I was
Yeah.
like, I immediately regret this purchase.
Oh,
But I
man.
still have them
that's
because you could
hilarious.
only
Yeah.
get them through Japan. So
Yeah,
it's
it was
I'm-
good times.
Who's really to blame? Yeah.
And I'm also just going to give a sort of mini plug. This is not something I'm involved in at all or anything, but for anyone who's interested in the UK, or if you can travel to the UK, Sonic Fan Fest actually has a Kickstarter. So
Nice.
if you're interested in Sonic stuff, there's a fan festival. I know there's a few of these around now. I know Summer of Sonic used to be the big one, but that hasn't happened for a long time now, because the guys behind it have moved on to other things now and stuff. But yeah, so this Sonic Fan Fest Cardiff, which is in Wales, if you don't know, for anyone outside the UK, it's happening. They've got 11 days to go on the Kickstarter, and yeah, just check it out if you can.
Do it.
Brilliant. There we go. So that's me. So Chris, buddy, what have you got to plug?
Sure. Just a quick thing. It won't take very long, but just as we're getting work on the new issue, we decided we were going to make issue 1 available at $4.99 on the website. So I'm holding up issue 1 right here. So that's half price of what our normal issues are. It has been $9.99. And so when this episode drops, the listeners, you could be the first ones to know about it. I'll put it out on socials a little bit later. But yeah, this issue is awesome. I love it. But we have on the cover is our Final Fantasy 7, which Sketchcraft did. Very sweet cover. But we have reviews on like Streets of Rage 4, Doom Eternal, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, retro reviews on Golden Axe Beast Rider, which Graham, you did.
Woo-hoo. Yeah.
Beast Rider. Yeah, we have. Yeah, this is a fun one. This was our first redesign. I think the first one that I'd actually done most of the layout design on. I will say it's improved with each issue. From my opinion. But yeah, so this issue, go out and check it out on the website, www.megavisions.net, and you can go to the store and find it right there. And all the other issues are still available. I've gotten my back office all set up and ready to actually start shipping stuff again, because they had been all in storage just to make sure they stay dry and clean and everything. So I've gotten them out again, and I'm gonna get ready for processing orders once more.
Yeah. That's very exciting. Awesome. Good to hear.
Getting the old shop back up and running.
Yeah, nice. And send some.
I just want to say
them.
thank you guys again. For inviting me to come on. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad to get you back on. I know Condemned is one of those games that you love, so I was like, we're doing Condemned. We've got to get Chris on. It's
I appreciate it. And I do want to say, man, I think you guys keep doing this. This podcast is a lot of fun. It reminds me of some of the old like Nerdcast stuff, but I think it's also just I love just listening to you and Scotty kind of banter and Scotty get angry at you and all the technical difficulties. I think it's actually one of the charms of the show. So don't beat yourself up too much over it. But man. keep on rolling, man. You guys are doing great.
Thanks, Chris, man. Awesome.
Trying to get better about it.
You're trying. We try so hard.
I could feel and just like hear Scotty's like anxiety and like stress going up like increasingly throughout some episodes. It's awesome. I love it.
Still my favorite is when was that? Oh no, that wasn't even on here. That was on Sega Lounge. I had to convince, or maybe it was on Sega Lounge after this. I had to convince Graham that you could play PS1 games on a PS3. Like he did not believe me.
I remember hearing
Graham,
that. Yeah.
That's how I play them now, currently in my life. Why would I lie to you?
It's not a thing.
Never change, Graham.
I've genuinely never heard that until Scott. You blew my mind. That's great.
I love it.
What I do. That's what we do here at Sega Spirit.
Yep.
Man, cool. So thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for coming back on, and I hope the audience enjoyed our review or the retrospective of Condemned. And also if you have played Condemned, if you played it back in the day, if you played it more recently, please let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fun jazz, and we'll see you in the next episode. See ya.
My bladder is crying.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't need long.
It'll take me like 30 seconds. I'm just gonna go outside to pee.
Oh yeah, you can do that there.
It's a benefit of I spend lots of time out there like naked in the moonlight, just pittering around the farm.
Nice.
You're 1,000% still recording, aren't we, Graham?
We are. We are actually
All right, be right
recording.
back.